Hi, hello. My name is Reagan McNulty. I also go by Ren. I'm pure softie online. If you're here right now, you've probably seen the video that my abuser, groomer, and made on me, MrTLexify, Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta. This video is not going to be easy to make, and it hasn't been easy these past 2 weeks that I've spent gathering all my evidence to support my story. I have been reliving a lot of trauma and memories from my past that I've tried to forget about through deep diving and manually reading old texts one by one. I have 8 years worth of evidence to go through, and it took me 2 weeks to do that. A lot of people right now are sending me a lot of mean messages because they think what Lex is saying about me is true. People think I'm a pedophile, a rapist, a groomer, and whatever else, because those are Lex's exact words. Lex has framed his video to paint me in a very bad light, and I have already taken the steps forward to take legal action against all the harassment, lying, invasion of privacy, and torment he has knowingly put me through. As well as I have reported this incident to the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center for cyber harassment as my lawyer advised me to. Lex Adrian Iwan lied about me in many different ways in his video that has now amassed to close to 2 million views as I'm recording this. I am here to set all of Lex's lies straight, and I am here to provide evidence that Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta groomed me, raped me, and abused me physically. As you guys can tell, I'm reading off a script right now because I have 31 pages of evidence and 31 pages of stuff to talk about. Lex made a lot of lies about me that are really absurd that I have to talk about. I can't just let him say this about me and let him try to get away with it when none of it is true. I'm gonna try to go in order of my timeline with Lex as well as Lex's video. In the first couple of minutes in Lex's video, he tries to frame Renzaru and anyone else who asked Lex for answers on if he groomed me as a minion of mine. This is untrue, and I did not know any of these people before the situation came to light. This is Lex's way of trying to frame me for other people. He does this a lot in his video. This is around the time when Lex started texting my mom as well, and he started harassing her, telling her that people were harassing Lex, calling him a pedophile and groomer for what he did to Alex. Alex is a 13-year-old girl that he confirmed he's talked to about relationship stuff with. Lex tries to frame it as if he had no ill intentions with her, but Alex clearly feels a different way, and she was the one who went through it. Alex has came forward herself and stated her own opinions on Lex and how she felt with him. When I was 17 years old, and I was dating Lex while he was 20 years old, I found out about Alex, and I immediately knew that he was gonna try to do to Alex what he had been doing to me since I was 15 years old. He was going to try and entice another fangirl with his status and power dynamic. Rather than help her and realize that we were both victims at that point, I made Lex block her on every platform that he talked to her on. I told him that our relationship was gonna be over if he didn't, because that's truly how I felt. Lex blocking her made her very sad, which is understandable because he was most definitely grooming her on the side of grooming me. Lex made her feel special and promised her things, only to block her on a whim without any explanation. The 13-year-old fangirl eventually deactivated her Instagram account, which is how I ended up with her old Instagram username, Lex My Babe. I don't know how anyone can justify Lex being 20 years old talking to a 13-year-old fangirl, especially knowing he had a history of talking to a 15-year-old fangirl. I was too blinded at the time to realize how wrong it was of Lex to be texting other children behind my back, but because we were together physically, I thought maybe he had chosen me, and I thought that maybe I was the one he wanted. Not only has Alex came forward and stated that Lex was texting her inappropriately, but also me. That means 2 victims have now come forward against Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta. My story starts with Lex grooming me at the age of 15. Lex was 18 years old at this point. Our relationship was never normal, and there was always an obvious power dynamic from the start. I started off as a fan of Lex's, and Lex would use his power to manipulate me into being silent about what was happening behind closed doors. We formed an online relationship before we met in person with the intentions of dating in 2017. We formed an online relationship in 2016, proceeded to know each other for a year, and then met each other in 2017. Here are screenshots with the dates confirming that Lex first talked to me when I was 15 years old and he was 18. He was telling me how much he appreciated my female presence in his life because he never really had one when he was younger. And the caption of the Instagram post is me saying, "I'm so happy that we made it past a year of knowing each other." By definition, grooming is a manipulative behavior where someone builds a relationship with a vulnerable child to abuse and manipulate them. Some warning signs that someone may be grooming you include excessive talk or knowledge about sexual topics, spending more time online, keeping secrets, and drinking or drug abuse. Other signs of being groomed include being purchased gifts by the groomer. These are all tactics that Lex used on me ever since I was 15 years old. The gifts that Lex gave me started off as small, like video game DLCs or a new video game on the day of its release. Lex knew that I grew up in a low-income household and that I didn't have access to many things growing up. Lex would use his gifts as ways to lure me in to spend more time with him. He would make me call him on Skype for hours on end, and we'd stay up past my bedtime even though I had school the next day. The purchases Lex made for me got more extravagant as time went on in our relationship. Lex was the person who took me to Disneyland for my first time in my life. Lex was the person who bought me my first flight outside of California. Lex would buy me a lot of things even if I didn't ask for them, like a PlayStation 5 or a Nintendo Switch. At first, I was very shy to Lex's money, but as we continued dating, he showed me that money was just a number to him. Lex lived a luxury lifestyle with the money he made from YouTube, and he was introducing me to that lifestyle. At a very young age, Lex promised me that he would take care of me and that he would be my provider. That is a common way for groomers to get their victims to rely on them. It makes it easier to isolate me if Lex knew I was dependent on him. Either way, the money that Lex was spending on me was able to be used in his taxes as write-offs because he doesn't have a normal job. Any money he spent outside of California was able to be used as a business tax write-off. Lex groomed me online properly for an entire year straight before he met me in person on July 4th, 2017 when I was 16 years old and he was 19 years old. I was, at this point, an easy target for Lex. He knew he had an influence over me, and because I was a fan, he knew I would keep quiet because I wanted to keep the relationship going. Lex had told me he loved me multiple times over text before we even met, and I believed it. When Lex was with me in person, he spoiled me and he used it as a way for him to touch my body prematurely. In Lex's video, he has a part dedicated to a TikTok talking about narcissism with various text messages of me surrounding it. These screenshots are obviously curated in a way to make me look bad, but Lex made a mistake by showing multiple text messages of me when I was 16 years old, giving me the proof of confirmation that I needed to show everyone that I was 16 years old when he first started dating me. I unfortunately didn't have these text messages. I have had about 3 new phones since I first started texting Lex, and I lost all the text messages of me when I was 15 and 16 years old. Lex claims in his video that we met when he was a minor and I was also a minor, but he doesn't ever show proof of it because it's not true. Lex and I met when he was 18 years old and I was 15 years old. We have a 3 years age gap. I think I want to add a trigger warning for the next topic I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about rape and it happening to me. So yeah, this is my encounter with Lex raping me. The first time Lex raped me was when I was 16 years old. And in my first Google document that he never addressed, I go into detail about how Lex orally raped me multiple times at the Z house, even when I told him no. Lex would beg me over and over until I eventually gave in, leaving me to feel guilty with myself. Lex wouldn't take no for an answer, and at this point, I was 16 years old and Lex is 19 years old. Lex would get me high and drunk and then take me into the room at the end of the night with him. The first time I ever got drunk with him is when I recorded these videos at the Z house. Lex claims I look happy in these videos, but I'm incredibly intoxicated.
I would literally
say something to sober us.
Sober us. This was my fault. This was my fault. I love this person so much. If you ever Ooh.
I love you guys.
Reagan. But do you?
You're dumb.
Reagan,
You're
I would
dumb.
you don't understand. I would literally do fucking anything for you. I'd do so much for this.
Listen, I love you.
I fucking don't understand you.
I love
Don't understand you. Why do you think that's gonna make it better? Listen, I will do anything. Kiss me.
You can see it in my eyes. You can see how numb I am to Lex's aggressive touching. You can see my eyes are just soulless. I have no comprehension of what is going on with me in those videos, and watching those videos makes me feel really disgusted. Lex says that no one who is a victim of rape and abuse would take videos with their abusers in a happy tone. So once again, I'd like to clarify that these videos of Lex groping me at the Z house were taken before he raped me. Lex says that a true victim wouldn't take these videos, but I'm glad I took these videos because they are the only proofs I have that show his physical predatory behavior on me as a minor. These videos show that Lex was testing his waters and what he could get away with while I was drunk and high. I may look happy in these videos, but I'm clearly intoxicated. In the videos, I'm 16 years old and Lex is 19 years old. I want to reiterate this because people think that I was 17 years old. I was not 17 years old in those videos. I was 16 years old. Lex claims that the videos are misleading, but I really want to ask him, where are they misleading? You are literally groping me in the videos. In one of the videos, you literally say that it's your fault that I am drunk at a party with you. Lex says that no one at the Z house saw any sexual abuse occur, which is a ridiculous point to stand by because obviously I was not getting raped in front of everybody. I was getting raped behind closed doors. One night, Lex tried to orally rape me, and he wouldn't take no for an answer, so I stopped him by giving him dozens of hickeys all over his neck to prevent him from going down on me. The next morning, all of his content creator friends made fun of us because they noticed all the hickeys on Lex's neck. We all went to dinner together at Buffalo Wild Wings, and his friends continued to make jokes about how Lex looked like he got mauled because of all the hickeys on his neck. The jokes are really humiliating and embarrassing for me because I was a child and I didn't know what sex was. I didn't know that hickeys would do that. Or would look like that. If any of the Z House or any of the guys who were at the Buffalo Wild Wings dinner with us want to confirm this, that would be great. I know that you guys saw those hickeys on Lex's neck. You guys saw that interaction. I also have some images of the hickeys that I gave Lex, as well as myself. The next photo I'm going to show is from the date that Lex Adrian Iwan first raped me through penetration. He raped me at the Sheraton Gateway, Los Angeles, and he even confirms this himself in a Twitter DM to me. I'd like to add a trigger warning before showing this image because it shows a child being raped. It shows mine and Lex's faces. In this image, you can see 19-year-old Lex Adrian Iwan sucking on my 16-year-old breasts. You can tell that I'm 16 years old in this photo because of how young my face looks and because of how I have long natural colored hair, which is brown. I'm really sorry if I sound robotic as I'm talking about this. It's really hard to talk about this normally. I don't know how to talk about this without crying, honestly. I haven't had natural hair color since I was 16 years old, because I started dyeing my hair when I was 17. We took these Polaroids for Lex to keep in his wallet. Lex bought me a Polaroid camera for this purpose, and he told me to make him a scrapbook. To my knowledge, Lex still carries around these Polaroids. And to my knowledge, Lex still has child porn of me on his phone and his PC. In his video, Lex says, "There is also a serious claim that I raped my ex-girlfriend Reagan. This statement made by her is completely inappropriate and false." Well, here I am proving that my statement is right, that Lex, you did in fact rape me when I was a minor, and I am willing to go to court for this, and I'm willing to prove myself in front of a judge with all of my information and all of my evidence. The night that Lex took my virginity, he had to beg me to undress myself. I never wanted Lex to take my virginity. Lex says that everything we did together was consensual and of age. None of it was consensual. None of it was of age. Now that I'm older and I'm an actual adult, I can confidently say that I didn't consent to anything Lex did to me. I was too young to consent. Lex's proof that I consented to his sexual advances are text messages of myself as a minor, talking about sexual things. This is a clear sign of being groomed. I was in an environment that talked about sexual things, and I was repeating back the things that Lex had been telling me. Lex says that I have a kink and uses it as an excuse to say that he did not groom me. Yet here are some screenshots of messages that Lex sent me about him being my daddy and how he was going to rape me. I am a 17-year-old minor and he's a 20-year-old adult in these messages. In these messages, you can see him sending me sexually abusive material like, "I can't wait to demolish your perfect pussy and take advantage of you and rape you. And daddy is going to be so dominant now because I feel so powerful. But if you just say stop, daddy is going to rip up that pussy." Or, "I'm going to f you when you don't want me to. That's the only time I'll f you." And plus what makes daddy so hard is that those two are underaged. Or, "But I'm going to be bouncing on you with my full weight and then destroying you, baby. You're gorgeous, baby. I need to jerk my penis to those. I can't wait until I can destroy your goddess body. Oh my god, baby. You are daddy's little treasure. Daddy loves you so much. I just really want to you now, like really badly. Daddy can't stop thinking of his dream where he picked you up with one arm and I'd carry you around like my little pet. I'm going to ride your body up and down, and then when they are, I want you to tell daddy that you've been a good girl." Reading these messages now as an adult makes me feel queasy. I tried really hard to forget about these messages. At a young age, Lex was enforcing his own sexual kinks and fantasies on me, grooming me to be the perfect product. Lex was sexually exploiting me as a child. Lex would call himself daddy even before I was comfortable enough to use the word in a kink way. It was a normal dialect by the age of 16. But my Twitter email messages between him and I only go back as far as till I was 17. That's why I'm glad that Lex posted proof of him talking to me when I was 16 years old. In regards to Lex talking about sex with me and talking about ways that I could please him more, Lex messaged me, "Also, my dick is really hard now, baby, so when I kiss you, please try and grab my erect dick that's poking you so it ain't awkward." Confirming that he has been kissing me for some time now, and also confirming that I was never really the sexual type. Lex had to give me lessons on how to be more sexual. Lex had to give me lessons on how to please him because I wasn't particularly watching porn to see how to please a man. I was awkward and I wouldn't grab Lex's dick because I was never comfortable with it. I just wanted to do cute stuff like watch movies together, go to a park. We never did that unless it involved Lex getting sex out of me. The messages Lex shows of me saying sexual things was just me trying to fuel his kinks and sexual fantasies. Lex claims in his video that even though she was a minor, she was all over me, so she wanted it. I honestly don't know how you could say that about a child. I don't know how you could blame your power dynamic on me when I was a child. I didn't understand any better in the situation, and I thought that you were going to marry me because you told me stuff like that. I thought that you were the love of my life at the time. You were the adult in the situation. You were the one who knew better. We have an age gap of 3 years. Lex raped me when I was 16 years old, and then he proceeded to me multiple times when I was 17 years old. Lex can say that I consented to it, but because I'm not of age, it is classified as statutory rape. Lex confirms in multiple messages to 17-year-old me that he has had underage sex with me and that he is proud of it. Messages like, yes baby, I love that. I love when you sit on my face. I wish just like that gif I sent that I could eat your pussy out while you're in a wet swimsuit, confirming that yes, he has made me sit on his face before. Or messages like, I love how you move your pussy when I'm you hard, and I love when we would just dry hump and we would fucking go so hard, baby. And I like August 31st because that was the day we fucked and the first day I called you. This particular message is important to me because this is Lex Adrian Iwan confirming to 17-year-old me that we have known each other for the past two August 31st. Lex is confirming that we did start talking when I was 15 years old, on August 31st, 2016, as well as confirming the first day he penetrated me being August 31st, 2017, when I was 16 years old. Throughout his video, Lex, MrTLexify, claims that he did not have any underage sex with me. That is a complete lie. Lex me when I was a minor. The Twitter DMs from Lex don't end there. The DMs get nastier and weirder. Lex was a porn addict when I first met him, and anyone who has been a fan of Lex's for a long time can attest to that because he used to frequently talk about porn and porn stars on his zombie streams. Now that this porn addict had access to a girl, he was sexually exploiting me. Lex would send me unsolicited dick pictures, even though I had told Lex before that I didn't like it when he sent me dick pics. In this screenshot, Lex says, I'm really fucking horny for you. Sends dick pic. Baby, I'm sorry for sending it, but like, I can't help it. I love you and I'm so turned on. Lex knew that I didn't like the dick pics and he still sent it anyways. The next morning, I made a problem out of it and I told him he crossed a boundary with me yet again. To which Lex responded with, I'm sorry about the dick pic. It was out of the blue and I know you don't like them. I just wanted to show you I'm all for you, but I don't know how. Maybe being in a really good, loving relationship could have shown me that you were all for me. You didn't need to send me a dick pic to show me that you are all for me. Lex would make me uncomfortable and try to get me to masturbate to him and for him. This was Lex's way of sexually exploiting me for nudes and child pornography. Lex would send me messages like, suck it baby, you know you want to, practice on a banana for daddy, or take that shower and think of me fucking your pussy, to try and coax me into masturbating to him and sending him nudes. During the summer of 2018, Lex claims that he was in Thailand for the entire summer. That is completely wrong. Lex was not in Thailand for the summer of 2018. He was in San Diego, California, living out of an Airbnb with me for 3 months. While I was 17 years old, he stayed with me in California for 3 months because that is how long he as a Canadian citizen can be in the United States without a visa or citizenship. He stayed with me from June 2018 to August 2018, as proven by these photos of us. Lex says that he spent his summer in Thailand during 2018 because he's trying to attempt to cover up the fact that he was spending his summer with his 17-year-old minor girlfriend, where he was sexually abusing her and exploiting her. Here in these messages, you can see Lex talking about how he's going to book an Airbnb for 3 months, with the original dates being June 8th to August 24th. After Lex booked the Airbnb, he messaged me stuff like, bend over, daddy needs pussy daily. I can't wait to fuck all the problems out of you. Daddy's little whore. Fuck, baby. I can't wait to just fucking use you. That summer is where all of these pictures of us together physically came from. In these images, I'm 17 years old and Lex is 20 years old. I was very depressed during the summer I spent with Lex because he was using me for sex, as well as supplying me with weed and alcohol as I was underage. Lex was using my 17-year-old body for sex every night over this summer, and he was not using protection. In these messages, you can see that Lex talked about coming inside me frequently, and he was aware of what he was doing. The summer of 2018, when Lex rented out an Airbnb to live with me, he was sexually exploiting me and sexually abusing me every day. It got to a point where Lex Adrian Iwan had to buy me, at 17 years old, Plan Bs because he was scared of getting me pregnant. If you were not aware, it is very dangerous for a young girl to take a contraceptive as strong as Plan B because it can damage your uterus and have a chance to make you infertile. If you are ever thinking about having sex, Please just use normal protection or use birth control. Don't ever risk your health for someone else's sexual pleasure the way I did. Don't let someone take advantage of your body by making you take a pill that is as strong as Plan B the way I did. Talking about this makes me sad now because I know that Lex was taking advantage of my cluelessness. Lex did not care about my body or my health. Lex only cared about getting his nut off. Lex Adrian Iwan me multiple times over the summer of 2018. In Lex's video, he claims, Reagan said that the birth control was something she wanted to buy herself, even though we hadn't had sex though because it was not legal. So I'd like to reiterate once again that Lex Adrian Iwan raped me multiple times over the summer of 2018, and I had to text him about me having to get birth control because I was tired of him using my body. I was tired of Lex taking advantage of my underage body, and I was tired of my body having irregular cycles because of the Plan B. I knew I needed the birth control for my own safety and my own well-being. Lex was never going to make that decision because he never cared about my safety or my well-being. Lex tries to flip the narrative that him raping me is my own fault, and Lex tries to prove this by showing text messages of me as a minor, once again talking to him about sexual things that he has taught me. He makes a false claim again, saying that we waited for sex, but never provides evidence of him ever saying that we waited for sex, or him telling me, hey, let's wait to have sex. Lex uses a particular text message of me as a 17-year-old minor saying I was orgasming over him when I was 14 years old. Again, I forgot that this message existed. The fact that Lex would even post a screenshot of a minor saying that is really gross. I am so far removed from 17-year-old me, and I've tried so hard to forget about the damage that Lex has done on my psyche. The message he is showing is of 17-year-old me saying, when I was 14 years old, I orgasmed to your stream. I said this as a joke. You can tell because right under the message I say, I tried so hard to get into your zombies game, insinuating that I was playing the game while watching a stream. I didn't actually touch myself or I didn't do anything remotely sexual as a 14-year-old. Without context, Lex is trying to make it seem like I'm a sexually charged person. Lex is trying to make it seem like I genuinely orgasmed over his zombie stream. The text message of me saying that is just my way of saying I fangirled over him in a funny way. We all know from his own Snapchat video that he posted to Twitter that Lex cannot make me orgasm, and he never has. It was a figure of speech, and I was using it to try to be funny. But Lex has taken it out of context and is using it to lie. Despite trying to make it seem like I'm a sexually charged person, my friends and people who know me know that I am not a sexual person at all. Most of my friends know that my sex experience with Lex was really bad, that it turned me asexual. There's a point in Lex's video where he attacks all of his viewers with out of context screenshots of my own text messages and says stuff like, how you asked me to be your boyfriend again in 2017, or how you're telling me you're happy to have found your daddy at 15, or maybe even claiming that the daddy kink was yours. Lex including these messages and these screenshots is his way of indirectly admitting that he did date me as a 16-year-old. This is Lex's way of indirectly confirming that he did meet me when I was 15 years old. And as for Lex talking about how the daddy kink was supposedly mine, I'd just like to point again to how he forced the daddy kink down my throat at a very young age, even before I knew what it was, even before I could consent to that type of behavior. Unfortunately, how would a child or how would an 18-year-old have a daddy kink unless this kink was shown or taught to me? It was embedded into the lifestyle that Lex had with me. It was so bad that Lex was calling himself daddy without even me initiating it. In Lex's video, he says, how about you admitting to regretting taking things slow with me in 2017 when I told you I wanted to wait? Honestly, how about the fact that you groomed me when I was 15 years old, Lex? How about the fact that you me? How about those facts? You did not ever tell me that you wanted to wait. In fact, you were actually messaging me stuff about how you couldn't wait to be with me and how you couldn't wait to fuck me. You even came to my high school homecoming dance as my date. At no point in our relationship did you ever wait or respect the age of consent. Just like at no point in our relationship did Lex ever tell me he wanted to just be friends. Lex never shows text messages of him telling that he wanted to wait or be my friend because these text messages don't exist. Instead, Lex was telling me stuff about how he wanted to marry me and how I was his wife and how I was his baby. Another disgusting thing that Lex does in his video is show a text message of me as a teenager saying that getting groomed is hot. Lex does this as a way to back up his claim that he just wanted to be my friend, which entirely makes no sense because why would I be talking about how grooming is hot if we were just friends? And if you knew as an adult that I was getting groomed, why didn't you tell a trusted adult that I was getting groomed by somebody else? This claim that this message I sent him is proof of me consenting or proof of him asking to wait is absurd. Like, showing these text messages of me getting abused and reciprocating to me being groomed as a minor really hurts to read. It really hurts to relive, and it hurts even more to see him weaponize myself against me. Those were times when I was naive to what was happening, and it was also a time before Lex had put his hands on me physically. It was very obvious that whenever I talked about sexual things, like saying, grooming is hot, it was just me spewing back whatever my relationship was teaching me. I'd like to spend some time to talk about how Lex said that I have a fake ID and that I used my fake ID to get into places, or that I used my fake ID to buy other minors drugs or alcohol. I did mention earlier that Lex was buying me weed and alcohol to properly get me drunk and high so that he could rape me. Even though Lex was only 20 years old, he was able to buy these substances because he was the one who had a fake ID. Lex bought himself a fake ID and shipped it to himself in the mail, and used that fake ID to purchase alcohol and marijuana in America. The legal drinking age in Canada is 19 years old, meaning that Lex was already able to be drinking in his hometown and in his home country. So Lex had to buy a fake ID specifically for whenever he came to America to be with me or to be with anybody at the Z house. In these screenshots here, you can see that Lex is talking to me about buying himself a fake ID, saying, "Apparently my fake IDs came in. I have to go and pick them up." Lex then texted me a few days later saying, "Also, just used my fake ID buying alcohol to test it out and it worked. So I'm feeling pretty confident about it." Lex is saying that he's very proud to have a fake ID, and he's very proud to know that it worked in America. Lex confirms that he used his fake ID multiple times in America by saying, "I might get really fucked up tomorrow night by drinking because my card works here, and man, I hope you don't get mad at me for going out because I'm gonna want to make love to you right after." Room is 1156, by the way. Lex adds the room number at the end of that screenshot because he was trying to lure me over to another hotel to have sex with him that night. I didn't end up going to see him because my parents weren't comfortable with me going to Los Angeles by myself. Lex Adrian Iwan used his fake ID multiple times when he was in California over the summer of 2018 to buy himself and me weed and alcohol. Here's an image of Lex's fake ID where it says he's from Washington, and then here's a picture of Lex's real Canadian ID. When I saw in Lex's video that he falsely accused me of being the one who had a fake ID and it was me who was the one who was buying minors weed, I was really shocked and really scared. I have never had a fake ID once in my life, and I never needed to have a fake ID because my adult boyfriend was the one supplying me weed and alcohol on his own. At no point in my life did I ever need a fake ID. Lex was always old enough to get us whatever he needed to get us. Lex tries to prove his claims of me having a fake ID by showing a screenshot of me from 2017 where I'm 16 years old talking about inviting my high school friend Alex over to smoke in Lex's hotel room. Lex words it by saying, "Or how you even admitted you wanted to invite your friends who bought your drugs to my place." Lex fails miserably by indirectly showing proof that he had a hotel room in California and that he was spending time with me in California while I was 16 years old. My friend who wanted to come over to Lex's hotel was another 16-year-old, and we were going to smoke the weed that Lex had bought me. Lex had provided 2 minors of marijuana that night. Here are pictures of the hotel room that Lex booked and photos of us in the hotel room together. Again, Lex purely booked this hotel room and purely came to California that weekend just to coerce me into having sex with him. The dates of the images and the date of the Twitter DM that Lex shows in his video align. Lex straight up lied about me having a fake ID and never showed proof of me having a fake ID or ever talking about whenever. Lex also said in his video that I used a fake ID at the Hollywood escape room that me, him, and all of his YouTuber friends went to. In my Google document, I provided a picture of a passport that Lex made for me at this escape room. The passport says December 12th, 1998, because Lex is born 1998 and he thought it would be smart to give me the same year as him because it would make us the same age or something. The date of the escape room that we did was August 20th, 2017, meaning that if my birthday was December 12th, 1998, I would have only been 17 years old, meaning that my fake ID would claim that I'm 17 years old. Lex's lie makes no sense because why would I have a fake ID to make myself appear only 1 year older? I was 16 years old at the time. A 17-year-old cannot even do anything legally in California. A fake ID saying I was born on December 12th, 1998 would not benefit me at all. This also confirms that Lex is lying about the escape room being for adults only and saying that the ID people there. The website of the Hollywood escape room itself says that even children over 5 years old are allowed inside the escape rooms with a companioning adult. The Hollywood escape room didn't check IDs at the time, and Lex manually gave them a birthday that he thought would make me appear older in front of his friends. Lex clearly didn't think it through because my age on the passport only made me 17 years old. Lex claims that he said in the moment, I told her to go outside and not participate in the escape room because it was 18 and over. Again, I'd like to reiterate that the escape room is for all ages 5 years old and older. You did not ever tell me to wait outside. Everyone who was with us knows you did not tell me to wait outside. This particular escape escape room is also right on Hollywood Boulevard, right on a corner of a very, very, very busy intersection. If I were to wait outside for Lex as a child on Hollywood Boulevard, I most definitely would have gotten abducted. On a note relating to the fake ID accusations, at 18 minutes and 23 seconds in his video, Lex says that I asked him to lie about my age, and this is completely false. I never once asked Lex to lie about my age to anyone, nor did I ever tell anybody at the Z house what my age was. I never told anybody my age because I knew that my age wasn't appropriate to be dating Lex. I knew that something wasn't right, and therefore I was trying to keep my age a secret around them. Whenever anybody would ask me for my age, Lex would instead answer for me by telling them I was 18 years old. Now, I do have a vivid memory of Lex and I going out to dinner with all of his friends. At this dinner, Noah J456 was sitting across from Lex and I, and he decided to be kind and include me in the conversation by asking me how old I was and where I went to college. When Noah asked me how old I was, I didn't answer him, and instead I looked up at Lex and I took a sip of my drink to prevent me from having to speak up. Lex quickly answered for me and told Noah she's 18. She goes to a San Diego university. Noah gave me a look when Lex responded, and I stayed quiet. I knew that deep down, Noah had a hunch that Lex was lying because I did not present myself as a college student. If Noah would like to come forward at some point and confirm that this happened or confirm that this didn't happen, I'd be really grateful. I have no way of contacting Noah myself, and if I did, I would, especially since Lex has attempted to drag Noah down with him in this mess. Lex tries to frame these particular screenshots by saying I lied about my age to the Z house, which is wrong. These dates do not align with the dates that I was at the Z house, and I must have been talking to Lex about a different situation in which we lied to his own mother about my age, and we realized we couldn't have a normal relationship anymore. Again, I only did what I was told to because I wanted my favorite YouTuber turned groomer to like me. I only lied to Lex's mom because Lex was telling me to. If I was able to live comfortably and able to live lie-free, I would 100% would have taken that route. I wanted to have a normal relationship with Lex. I wanted to be taken seriously. I didn't want to be treated like some child, even though I was one. Because at that age, you think you know everything. You think you have it all figured out. You don't realize until your frontal lobe develops, and now you're an adult, and you realize you got groomed and you got raped. Even coming to terms with this and saying this out loud is really hard for me. I try to live my life without thinking about it and without thinking about all the time that I've spent wasted on Lex. I try not to think about how different my life could have been if I never met him. I'm just trying to move on and hopefully live a better life than what I have already gone through. Back to my little script. So now that it has been established that Lex is the one who had a fake ID and used it in America, I'd like to once again reiterate that Lex Adrian Iwan was the adult buying me alcohol and marijuana when I was a minor. Lex knew what he was doing when he was supplying me these substances, and he knew that I was going to get addicted to them. Lex would even text me about it, showing that his actions were premeditated. In this message, Lex says, "We are both going to get high tomorrow, and Daddy is going to use your pussy as much as he likes. Be able to get away with penetrating me because I was intoxicated." Lex also loved that I was younger than him. Lex loved that I was underage, and he loved that he could take advantage of a girl who was underage. Since he met me, Lex would tell me about how he liked my mannerisms, and he liked how childlike I was. He liked how I acted and how I looked in real life. In these Twitter DMs, you can see 20-year-old Lex Adrian Iwan telling 17-year-old me stuff like, "Baby, it's the little things that had me so fucking turned on for you. Like, it's your mannerisms that get Daddy so fucked up for you." Lex then follows up with, "Your mannerisms get me so," drooling emoji. Like, you bounce around and you're cute, and when you pose and your ponytail, and hard eyes emoji. It turns me on the way you operate. Outside of this text conversation with Lex that you guys can see, Lex would also tell me these compliments in real life. Lex would let it be known to me that he liked me a lot more in my cutesy little girl outfits and not in grown woman outfits. Lex would let it be known that he preferred my hair in 2 ponytails rather than me having my hair down. I was taught by Lex at a young age how to style myself, and I was taught by him that I was more valuable if I was seen as young and cutesy. Unfortunately, because of the effect that Lex had on my life, that is why I present myself the way I am. Ever since I started Lex, I started presenting myself in the way that he wanted me to. In his video, Lex lies and says that the screenshot I posted in my Google document of him talking about having underage sex with me, saying that I will be his minoring forever, is fake. Lex claims that this image is fake because it has 5G internet connection, and that 5G internet didn't exist in 2018, which is the date at the end of our conversation. What Lex doesn't know is that I actually took a video of our text messages and I didn't only have a screenshot or a image of him saying that. I have it on video. I took this video of our conversation from 2018 last year on June 3rd, 2023. 5G has existed since 2019. I took this video of our conversation because in the moment that I found it, I didn't recognize my old phone number and I thought that I had caught Lex texting another minor and talking about having sex with her. I thought I caught him sexting another underage girl just like he did to me. But in reality, I found text messages of Lex texting an underage girl that was me. Kinda ironic how that happened. Finding these text messages in Lex's phone felt weird to me because even I don't have those text messages. It didn't make sense to me why Lex would keep them and I didn't understand why he had them saved for so long until I realized that he's probably keeping them because predators like to keep trophies of the victims that they have. Keeping stuff like this is definitely a trophy and it's definitely a trophy of him to himself proving that he groomed me. That conversation is probably one of the last sexting conversations we ever had as I was a minor, which is why he wanted to keep it. It's one of the last times I let him take advantage of me while I was a child. Lex says that this phone number also, that he can't find it or that he can't find these messages. Lex also confirmed in his own Google document that this was my old phone number by including this screenshot of him texting me on my old number. The screenshot he provided even has a date of the conversation going back to September 20th, 2018. The video on my phone that I provided also goes down to October 2018. Meaning that I am 17 years old in both pieces of evidence provided by Lex and myself. In Lex's video, he claims that he cannot find any of the text messages between him and my old phone number relating to the minoring and the 5G accusations. But once again, Lex makes a mistake by, in a separate section of his video, towards the end, confirms that he's lying about not being able to find these messages because Lex shows another unbefore-seen text message of the same old number of mine. Lex showed this image of the same old number, meaning that whatever is said in this conversation is me as a minor, and it was one of the last few things that I said to Lex as a minor. Lex still has these messages, and he still has these trophies of me because he wants to keep them. Lex is lying by saying that he cannot find these text messages on his phone. He proved that he's lying by showing the screenshot. Lex wrote over this message saying, "Why would an abuse victim make their abuse situation their phone background?" and proceeds to show a text message of that number talking about how I put a photo of Lex and I from my whole high school homecoming on the back of my phone. Wrapping up this minor stuff with Lex and how he liked me when I was a little girl, I wanted to add that it is very obvious by how Lex talked to me and by how Lex made me represent myself that Lex likes little girls. He enjoyed the mannerisms of a little girl and he liked how I made him feel. That is why, as I got older, Lex started to go for girls younger than me. Lex went out of his way to target younger girls because it would continue to fuel his sexual fantasies in a way that I no longer could now that I was growing into an adult. After confirming his past with a 13-year-old fangirl, Lex talks about other young girls that he was caught texting. Lex claims that he did not target any of the young girls, or that he does not target young girls in general, but all of these girls that Lex went after had something in common. They were all freshly turned 18-year-olds. It is easy for you to say that you weren't targeting them, but your track record is showing proof of multiple young girls, all barely the age of 18 years old. Lex shows some screenshots from my Google document, but make sure that they are blurry enough so that you guys cannot actually see what he is saying to this 18-year-old girl over the dating app Bumble. Here are the text messages again so that you guys can read them better. In these messages, Lex is calling this girl his goddess and telling her that he would be more than happy to live with her and provide for her. Lex's first message to this girl on Bumble was, "Baby, I live in Vancouver. I will be yours. You are a goddess. Please, my princess sweetie girl. I will do anything for you. I want marriage now." This is Lex trying to love bomb a young girl, speaking to her in a way that he knew he could get away with because that's how he spoke to me. Lex doesn't live in Vancouver and he was trying to lure this young girl out to a potential Airbnb in Vancouver the same way that Lex would lure me out to Airbnbs in California. It is very obvious that Lex speaks so confidently like this to a teenage girl because he already had history with another teenage girl that he groomed and isolated. Lex knew that he got away with it once before and he was trying to do it again, this time through the means of a dating app rather than social media. The text messages that Lex Adrian Iwan sent to this young girl on Bumble on his first impressions of speaking to her are gross to read. It is very obvious what he is doing when he tells young girls stuff like, "You are so perfect, I really want to become best of friends and then marry you." It is obvious that he is typing to these girls with his dick in his hand. In these text messages Lex sent to this 18-year-old girl, he also mentions texting her on Telegram. Lex gave her his Telegram so that he could exchange private dirty messages with her. I contacted the girl myself and asked her if she would be able to show me the Telegram messages to which she confirmed that Lex deleted the Telegram messages because he knew there was something to hide. Even though Lex had deleted the Telegram messages between him and this 18-year-old girl, she was kind enough to send me this video of Lex. Lex sent her this video because she asked him to send a video of him touching his lip to prove that he was actually the YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers that he advertised himself on Bumble. On top of this 18-year-old girl that Lex was trying to lure over Bumble, there are 2 other 18-year-old girls that I caught Lex texting and was made aware of. There could have been more 18-year-old girls, but I don't know. Here's a screenshot that I included in my second Google document where Lex is seen wishing a girl happy 18th birthday. In Lex's video, he claims that he messaged the girl happy 18th birthday because it was in her social media bio. Okay, her birthday is in her social media bio. That's fine. But how did you get her number in the first place? How did you have a 17-year-old girl's number on standby? No teenage girl has her number in her bio. And even if her birthday was on her bio on social media, why didn't you just wish her a happy birthday on that social media? Why did you have to text her on iMessage? Your excuse doesn't make sense, Lex. Lex was 24 years old, texting a 17-year-old girl, and then wishing her a happy 18th birthday, immediately followed up by, "I'd love to take you out for some real food," proving that Lex did prey on this girl. Lex says that he never went after young girls and never specifically targeted them, yet this screenshot from his own phone is proof that he does. He knew her age, he knew that she was young, and that's why he offered to take her out. It is clear that he does not care about these girls' personalities or anything else about that. He only cares about their age, because their age to them brings value to Lex. Lex also has this ideation that if you're young, you're a virgin. And Lex sexualizes virgins, and he specifically is going after girls who he thinks are virgins. The final 18-year-old girl that I'm aware of that Lex went for, preyed on, and targeted is a girl on Instagram. This girl had freshly turned 18 years old, and Lex was seen sliding in her DMs, asking if she was in town. Lex didn't include this girl in his video response because he knows he's guilty of what he did. The way I found out about this girl is because somebody messaged me on Instagram, sending me a screenshot of Lex texting this 18-year-old girl, asking her if she lived in Victoria. The person who sent me the screenshot warned me and said, "She's like freshly 18. I don't know if you know him, but shit is kinda sussy. You can even see from her profile that she looks very young." None of the girls that Lex ever went for and attempted to date were 20 years old, like he says in his video. In the text messages I just showed, Lex asked out all 3 of these 18-year-old girls and asked them if they were available to date him. With a third girl, you can see in his message, he says, "Are you in Victoria right now?" Right now is in, let's go do something together right now. Lex wasn't interested in getting to know her personality or anything. That's why he didn't ask her about how her day was going. His first message to this girl is, "Are you available right now?" Lex knows that because of his history of dating a minor, going after girls who are younger now is a bad look for him. That is why Lex is trying so hard to fight the truth, and he's trying so hard to make me seem like the liar. Lex also says at some point in his video that if any of these girls were actually underage, that they would have come out by now. First of all, a girl that you talked to when she was 13 years old has came out. Second of all, a girl who was 16 years old has also come out, that girl being me. Third of all, reading comprehension is very important because I never said that these girls were underage in my document. I called them young girls. I said that they were freshly turned 18-year-old girls, which is proven. I never said that they were minors. I never said that they were underage. Fourth of all, shouldn't Lex's logic of, "Oh, the victims would have come out by now if they exist," also apply to me too? Lex sat there in his video and accused me of having a relationship with 5 minors as I'm an adult. Not one supposed victim has come forward on your allegation and your claims, even though it has been 2 weeks and even though your video has amassed 2 million views by now. No one has come forward because the allegations Lex has made about me are simply not true. Finding out that Lex was texting these young girls really hurt to see. I had lived through him grooming me and him taking away my teen years. I couldn't understand why grooming one girl wasn't enough for Lex. I knew deep down that he had fetishized me being underage when he was with me while I was underage, but I didn't ever really want to admit it when I was growing up into an adult. Lex liking kids was never something I ever wanted to acknowledge or admit to myself. I was scared of that reality. I also had a hard time admitting to myself that he took advantage of me when I was a minor, because when I was that age, I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew the guy I was dating. I thought he meant it when he told me I was mature for my age. I thought he meant it when he told me he was gonna take care of me and provide me a life. I thought he meant it when he told me he was going to marry me and live with me happily ever after. Now I'm gonna get into the blackmailing, exploitation, and abuse allegations that Lex Adrian Iwan has made against me. Throughout Lex's video, it is very clear that he's willing to lie and manipulate conversations in hope to make me look bad. For starters, he shows text messages in his video at 4 minutes and 26 seconds, claiming that I was blackmailing him after I found out he was texting teenagers again. And at 9 minutes and 10 seconds into his video, he brings up me blackmailing him in order for him to not leave me for other girls. This is completely false. I didn't care if Lex ever left me for other girls. What I did care about was him trying trying to groom and abuse other young girls. I wanted to stop that. I didn't want Lex to continue his history that he had with me on other girls. Lex does this in an attempt to cover up the cheating allegations that everybody brought up from this Instagram post in 2019. I made this Instagram post when I was 18 years old. I just turned 18 years old, and I found out that Lex was cheating on me because I went through his phone. And when I went through his phone, the cheating messages went back to years and years because he didn't clean his phone. He didn't decide to delete the messages of him with those girls. I made that Instagram post when I was very sad and upset, but because Lex is my abuser and my groomer, he knew how to manipulate me back into a relationship with him, and we continued dating after he sent me a couple apologies. While Lex admits that yes, he was texting other girls in 2019 as he was dating me, and he does confirm that he did cheat on me as I was a minor, Lex uses messages of me from 2023, last year, to try and spin his cheating on me. Lex is trying to make it seem like I was going to expose him for leaving me. The few text messages Lex decides to show are clearly not full images, and they're clearly manipulated. You can tell so because of the occasional I message that's in between each text message. If you guys are not aware, when you delete messages from a while ago, instead of putting the date that the messages happened, they replace it with the word I message above the time differences. If Lex supposedly has nothing to hide, why did you go through great efforts of deleting text messages between us to fabricate different conversations? While it looks like I'm blackmailing Lex in the images he manipulates, he conveniently left out that before these messages even occurred, and before I retaliated for myself, Lex had been blackmailing me for a couple months by threatening me to take away the roof over my head to an apartment that both of our names were on. I only started retaliating back to Lex when I realized that he was also threatening me and also blackmailing me so easily. Lex was threatening me with something that my name was legally on and something that he could legally not threaten me with. Lex could not legally ever kick me out of my own apartment, and he knew that. Lex used his threats as a tactic to scare me and a tactic for me to act how he wanted me to act, even though we weren't dating at the time. I'd like to address the way that Lex and I started living with each other. Lex claims that I wanted to live with him because he had a nice apartment now, but the truth is that our living circumstances were abnormal. Lex needed me to have his apartment. Since Lex is a Canadian citizen and he didn't have a visa to be in the United States, Lex could only stay in the US for 3 months at a time, or else he had a chance of being deported back to Canada and denied back entry into America. This is important to remember because Lex says throughout his video that he could not be here because of his dog or something, or he could not be here because of something happening in Canada. But in reality, Lex could not be in the United States because he reached his limit of 3 months and he could no longer legally be here. Lex knew this, and he still knowingly lived with me and lived in an apartment where he knew I was gonna be living there 9 months alone. For Lex to even be able to rent his apartment in Los Angeles, California, he needed a social security number and somebody with a good credit score. As a Canadian citizen, Lex did not have a social security number. Lex used my social security number on his applications for everything related to this apartment. My name was even on the lease, and I had to sign multiple papers for Lex to be able to lease the apartment. All of the utility bills for the apartment were under my name because you need a social security number for those too. It was never that I wanted to live with Lex because his apartment was nice all of a sudden. It was that Lex was using my information to lease an apartment, and that my name was on the apartment, and that legally that apartment was also mine. Lex invited me to live with him. Lex could not have that apartment without me. Lex claims that I blackmailed him to exploit him and proceeds to show purchases that Lex made on me that were entirely consensual and that he bought with his own willpower. As stated before, Lex promised to pay for my lifestyle as a way for him to isolate me more. Lex's poor financial decisions are not my fault. Lex has proven to me multiple times as we dated that he is poor with money. Lex would spend absurd amount of money on Airbnbs and hotels just so that he could have a nice place to have sex with me. Lex would spend absurd amount of money on food, alcohol, marijuana, and would spend absurd amount of money on pornography, as well as gamble his own money on crypto. Lex's experience with gambling his money on crypto is the reason that he has gone broke so many times. Lex even admits it himself in these DMs, confessing that he was actually broke to me and he lost all of his money due to a crypto downfall in Dogecoin or something. Then in his video, Lex went over the pornography claims, saying that I'm lying about him buying OnlyFans. I'm assuming that Lex didn't want to admit his purchases on OnlyFans and Shutterfly and Patreon and Fansly because he doesn't want to be exposed as a porn addict, or possibly using this as a way to lie to his current girlfriend so that she doesn't find out. Nonetheless, I'll double down again and show proof and talk about how as I was dating Lex was buying a plethora of OnlyFans, Fanslys, and Patreons. Lex had been buying OnlyFans memberships since 2022, and he was purchasing pornography from girls who were advertising themselves as freshly turned 18-year-olds or women who advertise themselves with teenage aesthetics. Since Lex Lex didn't show the evidence I have of him buying OnlyFans Fansly and Patreons, I'll show it again. I also took this video of me clicking on one of the Fansly subscriptions that Lex had in his emails, only to find out that Lex had deactivated the account sometime before coming to see me. If you guys still don't believe me after seeing those photos that Lex is the one who was buying pornography and that he is buying a lot of it, here are some screenshots of Lex's bank statements during the months of January, February, and March 2023. These bank statements show exactly how much money Lex was spending on OnlyFans, Fansly, and Patreon, as well as the occasional Shutterfly for photo packages of girls that he was talking to. The statements also show that Lex was going negative every month, and Lex was somehow managing to spend $30,000 a month every month. He was spending this money to fuel his lavish lifestyle to support his bad addictions on porn, marijuana, and fast food. The night I found out that Lex was going after barely legal teen girls, as well as paying for pornography from teen girls, was the same night that Lex put his hands around my neck for the second time, as I stated in my Google document. At 9 minutes and 42 seconds into his video, Lex finally addressed the abuse allegations that I have against him, but he uses more lies in a way to manipulate his evidence to better fit his narrative. Lex doesn't acknowledge the first time he put his hands around my neck on March 14th, 2021. Lex manipulates his evidence by using conversations from 2020 to 2023, while simultaneously using a receipt from a $12,000 Airbnb in 2021. While Lex did in fact put his hands on me and choke me last year in 2023, it did not happen at the Airbnb he is claiming it happened at. It happened in our apartment in Hollywood, Los Angeles. The $12,000 receipt on an Airbnb is a receipt for the Airbnb in Coronado, California that Lex stayed at during 2021 for 3 months. This is the Airbnb that Lex first choked me in. Lex cannot physically prove that we were at this Airbnb last year in 2023, like he claims, because we were not. Lex claims that I was abusing him so bad or something in his video, and even says that he could not leave because he was broke after spending $12,000 on an Airbnb and he was away from his home country of Canada. That is when Lex also tries to add in that I went on to destroy the Airbnb. Both of these claims are false. In my Google document, I give a more in-depth telling of what happened the night that Lex first choked me. I also included some photos of myself crying during the aftermath of being domestically abused. In my document, I wrote, "No fight will ever compare to the one that we had on the night of March 14th, 2021. This was the night that Lex first choked me by my neck with his bare hands. On March 14th, 2021, Lex and I were going at it verbally. I was rolling a joint on a tray and sitting down on a couch of the Airbnb. Lex was getting heated with me as I was calmly rolling my tray, and during the argument, Lex stopped mid-sentence and goes, 'That's my weed. I paid for that.' Lex lunged forward to me and proceeded to try to take the tray out of my hands. He fought with me for about 5 seconds before the tray inevitably broke in half. I threw the broken tray at Lex's back out of self-defense since he had just lunged at me, which caused Lex to turn around and tackle me to the ground. My 6'1" boyfriend, Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta, tackled me to the ground, sat on top of me, and put both of his hands around my neck. I will never forget the look in Lex's eyes as he spent multiple seconds choking me out with the look of pure anger in his face. My vision got blurry and I was starting to lose my ability to breathe. I closed my eyes for a moment and that's when Lex got off of me. After that, I recorded myself on Snapchat, crying, trying to process that my boyfriend had just put his hands on me. I also have a witness that night who comforted me after I expressed to them that I was just physically abused by my boyfriend. Lex lies in his video and claims that my story about him choking me is false because there was no marijuana in the Airbnb since it is not allowed. Here is an image of the marijuana that flew all over the floor when Lex snatched the rolling tray out of my hand. Lex would smoke in Airbnbs with me even despite no smoking policies. You've proven time and time again that just because something is not allowed, that doesn't mean it's gonna stop you, Lex. Here's some more proof that Lex and I were in fact smoking at the Airbnb, along with some videos of him providing me alcohol while I was under the age at the same Airbnb. Lex goes further in his lies by saying that Reagan had a manic episode and broke a wooden board on my back and started destroying the place, when in reality, the reason that the Airbnb was destroyed was because of Lex's streaming setup that caused scratches to the wall. Whenever Lex was playing games on that chair and he was too close to the wall, Lex would move the chair around as it was on wheels and he would scratch the wall behind him. Lex says that I took pieces of a broken wooden board and started attacking the walls. This is completely made up. The board did not even break into pieces. The board only broke in half because it was 2 people playing tug of war. We didn't break the board like we would on a knee or something. Even after the board broke, Lex choked me. I was very weak after Lex choked me and I had not very much oxygen to my brain. I was in too much of a shock to do anything besides get out of Lex's vicinity. Him claiming that I attacked the wall makes no sense. When you choked me, Lex, all I wanted to do was get out of your vicinity. All I wanted to do was get away from you. I did not attack the Airbnb wall. Either way, Lex shows a screenshot conversation of him with the Airbnb host, but Lex does a convenient job of covering his response back to the Airbnb host, where you can see that previously, before covering it off with black marker, he highlighted it because he thought it would be good to add in his story against me. After lying about me attacking the wall, Lex shifts his blame to me for not having pictures of my bruised neck, saying, why would I not take pictures of my bruised neck if it actually happened? I don't have any pictures of my bruised neck because Lex did not strangle me to the point of bruising. He only strangled me to the point of no oxygen. My neck only got red from the pressure that Lex forced on me. I cannot take a photo of the inside of my body and show you guys that he choked me. I can only live with that feeling forever. I can only live with the feeling forever of knowing how it feels like to have a 6'1" male sit on top of me and choke me to death. Or attempt to. Either way, Lex still confirms in his video and his Snapchat video over text and in a physical letter that he has choked me. Even though I don't have a physical bruise or anything to show that, Lex has admitted multiple times that he has choked me. With a quick Google search, it is found that only 50% of victims who are strangled have any visible injuries to the neck or the head. 15% of people who have been strangled show signs of bruising. It would take a lot of pressure for Lex to bruise my neck just by choking me. The act of choking is reducing one's oxygen levels and making their heart stop. Lex then addresses the second time he choked me, but says it was staged. So in a sick, twisted way, Lex is actively admitting that yes, he choked me. But he's trying to manipulate it by saying it was staged. To even claim that I'd staged my own choking is fucking ridiculous. Who wants to get choked by their neck? Who wants to be told by their 6'1" boyfriend that he is going to kill me as he's choking me? Who wants that? Who wants to be held over the edge of the bed by their neck being choked? As told in my own Google document, after I went through Lex's phone and found out he was texting other young girls, I confronted him and woke him up, telling him how wrong he was for going after these girls. I repeatedly asked Lex if I was not young enough anymore, and I repeatedly asked him why he was going after girls so young. Lex felt threatened by my words, and he knew that I saw him for who he truly is. That is why Lex attacked me that night and threatened to end my life on the spot. Lex angrily woke up, pounced me again for the second time in my life, and hung my head off the edge of the bed. Lex shouted out, "I'm going to kill you," as he continued to hang my head off the bed, causing the blood to rush to my head faster, and he applied all of his weight on top of me. In the moment, I decided that the only way to get Lex off of me was by telling him that I was recording this. And I didn't just say, like, I'm recording this. I said, I'm recording this. It was very hard to get out. I will never forget the moment I stood up after Lex had choked me. I was foaming from the mouth. I could barely breathe. I was panting for air. My heart was beating so fast because Lex could have and was about to kill me that night. After I yelled out, I'm recording this, Lex immediately got off of me because he knew he was doing something wrong. This is another night of my life that I will never ever forget. I will always regret not filing a police report. I will always regret not calling the police over when it happened. Unfortunately, my phone was not recording Lex choking me. I only said it because I knew it was the only way he'd get off of me. Even though I don't have a video of Lex physically choking me, and I wish I did so that I could show you guys and prove that this actually happened to me. Lex acknowledges in his own video that I blackmailed him with a potential video of him choking me, insinuating that Lex was scared of the potential video of him choking me coming out. Lex was scared because he knew that he has choked me. Once again, why would I stage Lex choking me and then not show the staged video? His claims against me don't make sense. Trying to cover up you choking me by saying it's staged makes no sense. Just admit that you choked me and admit that you were an abusive person. The person that you are dating and any girl that you are dating in the future, they need to know that you are physically abusive. These women need to know for their own safety that you have already physically abused your ex-girlfriend. And it's the fact that you know better. Your dad has been abusive to your own mother. The fact that you've grown up in a household where you've seen abuse and you've still decided to be abusive towards me really says a lot about your character, Lex. In his video, Lex pretends to be the victim and cries victim, and he claims that the physical abuse on him was so bad and that she would always get physical whenever I tried to escape the relationship. Again, this is not true at all. Lex is not the victim. I did not abuse Lex. Even when Lex choked me, I didn't hit him or do anything because I knew if I tried, he could overpower me. There was no point in my life where I ever wanted to hit Lex or even try him because I know that Lex could easily kick my ass. I know that Lex could easily choke me. He had proved to me in 2021 that he could choke me. Why would I try to fight him in the future? Lex choking me before was him setting his dominance in our relationship and him showing that he can do that to me at any time. Victims of abuse and domestic abuse and who are still in relationship with their abusers, they know this. This is a common tactic that abusers use. And if Lex can do it to me, he's capable of doing it to any other girlfriend that he dates in the future. He's capable of doing it to his own family that he claims he wants to start so bad. On top of saying that I'm abusive and that I physically abuse Lex or something, Lex doesn't provide any proof. Lex doesn't provide any proof. He doesn't provide anything of him being hurt, no bruise, no anything. Lex claiming that he was trapped or that he couldn't escape the relationship is complete bullshit. If he wanted to escape so badly, why was he continuing to buy flights to be with me in California? If he wanted to escape so badly, why was Lex continuing to buy Airbnbs in California for 3 months at a time out of every year to live with me? Lex had more than enough money to pay for a flight back home. We all know that he makes $30,000+ a month. If I was really abusive towards Lex, he could have used this money to get away from me. The truth is that I wasn't abusive towards Lex, and I never was. The only physical evidence I do have from the second night that Lex choked me is the big bruise on my legs that Lex gave me when he put all of his weight on me as he choked me. Lex tries to say in his video that my bruise is fake and that it has no correlation to Lex whatsoever. He says, Reagan claims this event took place on June 6, 2023. I had taken pictures of movers on June 6. On June 8th, we were not at our old place where she took this photo. Wrong, 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 and wrong. I'd like to admit that yes, I made a mistake in my first Google Doc saying that this event that Lex choked me took place on June 6, 2023. It actually took place on June 3rd, 2023. The photo that I took of my bruised leg was taken on June 6th. 2023. Even though I'm wrong about the date that the choking happened, I'm right about everything else, and whatever Lex is trying to say is a complete bullshit lie. Here are some images of Lex and I on June 7th, the day that he claims he left and that he wasn't with me. Lex is trying to say that the bruise he gave me was on my body for months, and he uses a photo from my Instagram posted in November 2022, claiming that the bruise had been on my body since 2022. I'd like to reiterate and show some images of me before the abuse happened. Here are some images of my legs 2 days before Lex attacked me on June 1st, 2023. I was at the gym, and you can clearly see on my legs that I have no bruise. Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta attacked me on June 3rd, 2023. The image of my bruise was taken on June 6, 2023, after the bruise had time to oxidize. Lex claims that the movers would have seen my bruise or something, but that is false. As most victims of domestic abuse do, I covered up my bruises. I covered it up from the public. I went out with Lex to Walmart with my legs covered up because I didn't want anybody to see the nasty bruise from my terrible relationship. After denying that he gave me the bruise and trying to say that I've had the bruise on my body for a couple months now, Lex tries to frame the bruise that he gave me on a car crash that happened to me at the beginning of 2022. Talking about this is even crazy because I don't understand why anybody would believe these claims. Lex's lies are so absurd. Trying to frame a car accident on being the reason you bruised me is fucking crazy, and it shows that Lex will go to any extent to drag in any information he knows about me to manipulate it and use it against me. While yes, I did go through a car accident at the beginning of 2022, Lex is fabricating the evidence that he's showing. Lex is showing a picture of a different car of mine that had gotten into an accident, a minor one, in May 2022. The car that Lex shows a picture of was still drivable and still working. The car that actually got into an accident and that I tweeted about was not working. You can see by the dates of these pictures that my tweet aligns with the photo of the car that actually was impacted. The photo that Lex shows is not the car that related to the tweet. Lex also claims that he wasn't around for this car crash, but Lex was evidently around from this car crash, as you can see by this picture that I have of him in my car, because like I said, my car is still drivable at this point. And the fact that Lex even has this photo is because he was there. Lex went through this. Either way, the car accident that happened on this night and is the reason that I made that tweet did not have an impact on me. It did not have an impact on my friends, and it did not damage anybody that night. I go more into detail about that car crash later on in my video. You guys can check that out as well if you want to skip through this part, because Lex also claimed that my car crash made my ex-boyfriend suicidal, which is another absurd lie that I have to sit here and prove that isn't true. Going back to the choking stuff, after Lex has denied choking me and trying to frame that the bruise he gave me is from something else, at around the 26-minute mark, Lex lies some more and says that the letters he sent me in the past apologizing for choking me are forged by me. Again, this is untrue. I cannot stress enough how untrue that is. Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta sent me those letters his goddamn fucking self. Lex choked me and he abused me, and in return, because I was trying to end the relationship, Lex sent me apology gifts and apology letters. He used these letters and gifts as a way to try to lure me back into the relationship. Even then, on Lex's claims, why would I go out of my way to make a fake letter in which Lex apologizes for choking me, but I don't sign the letter with his name? Why would I make a 2-page long letter and include a lot of relationship stuff if I only wanted to accuse Lex for assaulting me? It doesn't make sense. I grew up in a low-income household. I didn't own a printer. I didn't have access to a computer to type a letter. Anything I owned that I had that gave me internet access, or any product like device that I owned, came from Lex. My parents were not providing me these things. I didn't have my first PC until I was 21 years old because Lex gave it to me in our fucking apartment in Hollywood. Still, it doesn't make sense. Why would I make these fake letters and anonymously type da-da this, da-da that, just to not use your name? On the first letter here, you can see the date that Lex typed and signed it being April 16th, 2021. This aligns with the proof I showed earlier of Lex choking me in March 2021. Not even a month had passed since he choked me, and he was already trying to apologize for it. Lex says that the letter cannot possibly be from him because his company has a different LLC name than the one he tagged on the letter. This is a false claim as well because Lex's company, Edit.tv, did not exist at the time this letter was sent. His company didn't exist in 2021. He launched his company in 2022. Nonetheless, April 18th, 2021 was a year before Lex released his website. Lex launched Edit.tv during the summer of 2022. The second letter that I got from Lex, where he apologizes for choking me, came along with some flowers. Lex doesn't show the photo clearly in his video, but here's another look at the letter. This letter was sent to me with a bouquet of apology flowers, and you can clearly see at the top of the letter that it has an order number. At the bottom of the letter, you can also see some text from the flower company. It is ripped off poorly, but if you look closely, you can make out some of the words that say, "Surprise, your blank blank, exclusive return gift used discount blank," meaning that this letter that Lex sent me with the apology bouquet actually had come from a larger piece of paper that I ripped off. I only wanted to keep the note because that's what mattered to me the most. I thought that Lex truly loved me because he was apologizing for choking me, but the truth is, if somebody puts their hands on you once, they're probably going to do it again. And if somebody puts their hands on you, they probably don't love you. They don't love you. I didn't realize that. I was too manipulated and I was too into the relationship to realize what Lex was doing at me. I did not forge these letters. Lex sent me these letters and that is a fact. I'd now like to take some time to talk about some stuff that Lex didn't address in his video. For an entire year, up until last month, Lex Adrian Iwan was harassing my own mother through text messages and trying to blackmail my mom into silencing her through me. Lex claimed that he finally cut me off with a cease and desist letter that he sent me, but he continued to harass my mother via text message to try and intimidate and silence me. In my second Google document, I show some text messages of Lex scaring my mother into silence, and in this specific text message, Lex tells my mom that the California law will not be in my favor of statutory rape because the crime has exceeded its expiration date. Lex says in his video that he kindly told my mother that his crime could not be taken as statutory rape because it was consensual. He says, "It's not because I committed this crime that I was explaining to her. It's because I was clarifying about what she believed that happened that did not occur." Yeah, anyways, some more images of Lex and I in bed together because it did occur, Lex. I don't know how anyone can manipulate warning a mother about the crime of statutory rape expiring on her daughter as a good thing. The way you're trying to manipulate it. You're evil for even trying to play this game. You know you were harassing my mother. You know that you sent her that message because you were trying to tell her that, hey, even if your daughter takes me to court, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna win. Lex was also harassing my mother about other people calling Lex out for talking to the 13-year-old girl, Alex. We already know that Lex has confirmed that he's already spoken to this 13-year-old girl and he is guilty about his interactions with her. But Lex had decided to bring my mother into the situation and demanded my mother to get me to stop harassment coming his way. When in reality, I had no contribution to anyone harassing Lex. I never sent anybody to harass Lex. I never sent Renzaru. I never sent anybody. The people that were harassing Lex on Alex's behalf didn't come from me.
They didn't come from anybody. They came because they wanted their own answers. Lex was texting my mother and harassing her because he knew he was guilty, and he knew that if any of the truth came out about Lex grooming me and raping me, that he would be fucked. Lex knew his last attempt at keeping things behind scenes was by harassing my own mother. At some point in his claims against my mom, Lex tries to frame his messages harassing my mother as his excuse for why he continued to give me money out of fear. This is completely false, and Lex was not giving me any money, nor was he paying my rent when he was threatening and blackmailing my mother. Lex's actions are incredibly disgusting, and it shows that Lex will go to extreme extents to keep his dirty secrets hidden. Despite being a self-proclaimed Christian, Lex has had no problem harassing me, my mother, and lying about my name. Lex has attempted to ruin my reputation and attempted to take away credibility from me so that he doesn't have to face the consequences for what he did to me. Since Lex knows that he is guilty, and since Lex knows that I have strong evidence against him proving that he groomed me as a young fangirl, proving that he raped me as a young fangirl, and proceeded to date me as a minor, Lex uses his video and any tweet made against me to try to frame me as the person who had any appropriate relationship with a minor. Lex makes up so many lies about me in his video, many of them involving minors. I am incredibly disgusted that Lex went as far as lying about me having an inappropriate relationship relating to 5 minors. Lex claims that I was an adult having an inappropriate relationship with 5 minors, saying that I cheated on him with 5 minors. As you all know, these false accusations that Lex has made against me have completely tarnished my reputation. Even though Lex didn't provide any proof of me with any minor, people still believed him. Even though Lex used photos of me with a girlfriend and a friend that I met in college, people still believed Lex when he said that I abused and hurt other minors. Lex knew what he was doing when he made up these twisted lies. He knew what he was doing when he manipulated those photos of me with my adult friends. Lex knew that because there are no photos of me with a minor out there, that he had to manipulate public posts of me with my adult friends in order for people to believe his false accusations. Lex claims in his video that he was anonymously told that I was cheating on him with 5 other underage boys in high school throughout the relationship, as he exactly words it. His proof that I was cheating on him with these 5 minors is a text from Anna, my ex-roommate, where she says that I cheated on him with 5 guys all together. Nowhere in Anna's message to Lex does she say that all of these men are minors, or that they're in high school. Either way, Lex misinterprets the text message that Anna sent him, and he is going out of his way to falsely frame me as a pedophile and groomer because Lex is that person. Lex going as far and lying about something very serious goes to show you how guilty Lex really fucking feels about the entire situation. How sick do you have to be to lie about me and say that I did stuff with minors? That is so untrue. That is so hurtful. I've had so many people tell me that I need to be in jail, that I need to do this, that I need to kill myself, that something needs to happen to me because of Lex's false allegations. Lex goes as far as saying that she lured them into my place in Los Angeles to take promiscuous photos of her in exchange for sex, which is truly a disturbing claim to make. I've never exchanged anything with anyone for sex in my life, and to even make such a heinous claim about me with 0 proof is insane. This is a time where proof is so important. These allegations that Lex is throwing at me are so important. It is so important to provide proof, yet Lex is throwing these around willy-nilly and not providing any proof at all. Lex shows a couple of pictures of me with my adult friends, claiming that my own friends are the ones who I'm paying in sex. That is disgusting. That is crude. It is horrible to say that. Neither of my friends were lured into my apartment for sex. The fact that I have to say that out loud is crazy. None of my friends were paid to hang out with me in general. None of my friends were minors. The people who Lex is trying to use against me and trying to frame as minors are adults. These are adults with lives outside of Lex's drama. And Lex thinks that he can use my friends as pawns for evidence to manipulate people? It is so fucking disgusting of Lex to do that. To blast my own friends on such a big platform and then not blur their faces out the way Lex blurs his own friends' faces out. If Lex really believed that they were minors, why didn't he blur out their faces the same way he did for his adult friends in his Thailand photo reference? Not only did Lex use 2 adult friends of mine to frame them as minors, Lex also uses a photo of me as a minor in high school with my friend who is also a minor. Lex is trying to use this photo and claim that I am having an inappropriate relationship with a minor, when in the photo, I am a minor myself. Lex doubles down, calling me a cheater, saying that I cheated on him with my high school classmate Marlo. This is the guy who is the minor in the photo. Again, It is so disturbing that Lex is using his name and bringing these people into Lex's own drama so that Lex can attempt to save his own ass. Marlo and my adult friends, they didn't ask to be a part of this. They didn't ask to be used as references in Lex's drama. Lex shows some DMs of me talking about my high school friend Marlo as proof that I was cheating on Lex, but the dates of the text show November 20th, 2018. All of them have the year 2018, meaning that I was a minor. Lex is once again admitting indirectly that he was dating me as a minor, because how are you going to make these claims that I was cheating on you even though I'm a minor? How are you going to make these claims that I was cheating on you, but we also didn't date and we also didn't do anything underage, when I'm literally underage in these photos and you're claiming that your underage girlfriend is cheating on you? It doesn't make sense. In every image that Lex used as proof of me cheating on him with Marlo, we are minors. And every interaction that is shown, me and Marlo are minors. The tweets that he shows of me and Marlo interacting clearly show that we had a best friend dynamic going on because we were calling each other names. It is clear in the text that Lex shows of me talking about Marlo that I was simply updating my adult boyfriend on what his high school girlfriend was up to with her friends outside of high school. Lex trying to frame my high school friendship with a classmate as pedophilia or anything similar is pure evil. I was a minor. He was also a minor. There is nothing illegal about that. My relationship with you, Lex, is illegal. My relationship where I was a minor dating you as an adult is considered pedophilia. Once again, I'd like to double down and reiterate that Lex Adrian Iwan has completely lied about me and is doing this to ruin my reputation. These false claims about me having inappropriate relationships with 5 minors are extremely hurtful and have damaged so much of my reputation online. I have never done anything appropriate with the minor, nor do I target minors like Lex claims I do. Lex is the one with the history of targeting barely legal girls as of recent. Lex is the one with the history of texting underage fangirls, me and Alex. Lex Adrian Iwan, MrTLexify, even uses my full name, email addresses, and shows all of my social media platforms in his video because he wanted to blast me for people. He wanted people to come send me hate. Lex knew exactly what he was doing. The hate I was getting from Lex and him blasting me on social media with fake allegations was getting so unbearable to the point that I had to go private on Twitter, resulting in nobody being able to see my Google documents with the truth about what Lex had actually done to me. This was a very unfortunate thing for me, and I'm really sad that I had to go private and people would think that, oh, she's a coward. Yeah, she really did do what Lex says she did. No, I didn't actually do what Lex claims I did. None of that is true. I went private because the death threats and everything were so awful. I tried to tweet, and anything I tried to tweet out and anything I tried to use to defend myself was immediately turned sour, was immediately filled with so much hate. My Twitter was no longer a safe space for me to defend myself or prove myself. My Twitter was just a place where I was getting flamed. It is so unfortunate that I had to go private, and it is so unfortunate that for 2 weeks, people have been unable to see my documents, and people for 2 weeks have been unable to see my side of the story. It doesn't end there though. Lex's lies about me don't end there in his video. On top of speaking on behalf of 5 imaginary minors and making insane allegations of me raping them and hurting them, Lex dragged in my only ever ex-boyfriend into this mess. I've only dated 2 guys. I dated Lex for 2 years and one other guy for a couple months. Lex knows that this is my only other relationship, and Lex was incredibly jealous that I had another relationship. In his video, Lex makes false allegations that I groomed, preyed on, and hurt my ex-boyfriend to the point of suicide. These allegations are straight defamation and, again, completely wrong. Since Lex had groomed me to the point of being my first everything, Lex felt possessive of me and would not let me leave the relationship. Lex got incredibly jealous of any friendship I had with a guy outside of Lex, and he was always watching my location. Over the summer of 2021, I was 20 years old working as a lifeguard for a big water park. I had over 500 coworkers and would make friends with a new person every shift. Lex claims that I sought out my ex-boyfriend and preyed on him because of his age, when in reality, we met organically through a coworker. Unlike Lex has shown through his repeated actions, I do not seek potential relationships for their age. I've only ever been in 2 relationships up until this point in my life. I've dated my groomer and been in contact with him for the past 8 years of my life up until 2023. Even then, unlike Lex, my history with the men that I've talked to or gone on dates with is all over the place on the older side of the scale. I do not have a history of going for younger guys or guys who are younger than me, because I don't do that. And quite frankly, the kinks that Lex had impacted my life with don't really relate to younger guys. He gave me a daddy kink. Lex introduced DDLG into my life. My dating history was on the older side of men because of Lex's impact, because of the kinks that he introduced into my life. I'd like to clarify that my ex-boyfriend was 18 years old and I was 21 years old while we dated. Again, I'd like to clarify that we met organically through a friend and I did not seek him out. When we met, he was 17 years old and I was 20 years old. We did not immediately start dating because I was still in a relationship with Lex. Lex says that I met my ex-boyfriend in April of 2021. This is a lie. Lex is lying about this because he's trying to cover up the fact that he sent me the letter in April of 2021. I did not meet my ex-boyfriend in April 2021. I was still dating Lex. I met my ex-boyfriend around July 2021. Lex even uses a photo in his video of my ex-boyfriend and I from the day that we met, confirming the date that we met and also confirming that we met through a coworker because the caption of the photo says, "Thanks, Max, for introducing us." It is abundantly clear that I did not target a minor the way Lex claims. My ex-boyfriend was not someone that I sought out for on a dating app and then told I wanted to marry. My ex-boyfriend was not somebody that I told happy 18th birthday to and then immediately followed up with asking him out on a date. Unlike Lex has clearly done to various other 18-year-old girls while he is 26 years old. Everything Lex says about my relationship with my only ever ex-boyfriend is a complete lie. Lex was not in the relationship and he was never present for any memory he made up about my ex-boyfriend and I. No one's parents were lied to, no one had the police called on them. Lawrence's family were all so sweet to me from the moment I was his friend to even when I transitioned into his girlfriend. His family was truly like a second family to me. We went on multiple family outings together, had multiple family dinners together, and were very familiar with each other. It is really hurtful to see Lex try to use the only other relationship in my life against me, knowing that Lex's mom has never liked me and she was always rude to me on multiple occasions. Lex's mom never knew my age, the way Lex claims that my ex-boyfriend's mom didn't know my age. Lex went behind his mom's back multiple times to fly me out to Canada and sneak me into her own house without her knowing. Everything that Lex has been accusing me of has somehow been what Lex has done to me.
Now this next lie is another crazy lie that Lex is making against my ex-boyfriend to try and defame him as well as me.
On top of falsely accusing me of grooming my ex-boyfriend, Lex Adrian Iwan has gone out of his way to fabricate a nasty lie and a false narrative that my car crash from January 2022 had my ex-boyfriend hospitalized to the point of suicide. There are so many things that are wrong with this accusation. First of all, it's such a nasty claim to make. Second of all, why would you think it's okay to make lies about someone else being suicidal if you claim to be suicidal yourself? Do you not understand how serious suicide is? Do you not understand how this could seriously impact someone by seeing that you're making false accusations that they are suicidal? Third of all, if this was actually true, why would you knowingly violate HIPAA by revealing someone else's mental health status to the public? None of his claims make sense, and Lex has no proof to back it up other than the tweet I made where I said I'm thankful that nobody got hurt, and the picture again from a different car crash that Lex was in. Lex is once again combining two separate car crashes into one to fit his narrative of lies. My car crash didn't make any suicidal, and to even say that is absurd. Everyone who was in my car and the other car survived the car crash without any scratches because 1, my car was a big car at the time and took the hit like a tank, and 2, no one in my car, and as well probably for the other car, saw the car coming to hit us, meaning that nobody stiffed up in preparation for a collision. The car crash that I was in that Lex is claiming put my ex-boyfriend into the hospital was deemed the city's fault because it was caused by faulty streetlights. My ex-boyfriend, my girlfriend, and I all remained friends after the car crash, and we even got money through a settlement from the collision. This time, Lex adds more lies to his fabricated story and says that I stabbed my ex-boyfriend after I broke up with him. This claim makes no sense because why would I stab somebody that I'm actively breaking up with? This is just a flat out lie and is so disrespectful to my own ex-boyfriend as well as myself. Lex making lies about domestic abuse and making lies about suicide is not funny and it's not cool and it doesn't help his situation at all. Suicide is a very serious tragedy that affects so many families and communities. It is so vile of you to try and lie saying I stabbed my ex-boyfriend's chest. If any of that actually happened, I wouldn't be here right now. The police would have been called and I would have something on my record saying that I stabbed my ex-boyfriend, but I don't have a record of that because none of what Lex is claiming happened actually happened. Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta went out of his way to fabricate these lies about my ex-boyfriend to frame him as some suicidal psycho because Lex was always jealous of him. Lex is trying to ruin my reputation as well as my ex-boyfriend's because Lex doesn't like either of us. Lex did this in hopes that maybe my ex-boyfriend would come out and confirm or deny these allegations, but the truth is that Lex is scaring everybody he mentions in his video. No one that Lex has included in his video has tried to come out and deny Lex because clearly everybody that he has included in his video is scared. Lex has doxed multiple people, including myself, in an attempt to cover him grooming and raping me. I want to triple down on the claims that Lex says about me raping and grooming 5 other minors. These claims are so important to me and I do not take them lightly. For the third time, I'd like to reiterate that anything Lex says about me grooming or harming anybody who is a minor is a complete lie. Lex's video has amassed so much traction now over the 2 weeks, and yet none of the 5 victims that he is claiming exist against me have came forward with allegations against me. The clear difference between Lex and I in this situation is that all of his allegations against me harming minors are coming from Lex himself. Lex is an adult 26-year-old male supposedly speaking on behalf of 5 minors without providing any text message or proof from these minors talking to him specifically. My allegations, on the other hand, about Lex raping and grooming me as a minor are coming from me, myself, the minor that it actually happened to. I have come out with my first-hand experience on Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta, and it's not only me who has came out, it is also the 13-year-old girl Alex, who has admitted that Lex was communicating with her inappropriately as a minor fangirl. Once again, that means 2 victims of Lex's have come forward with allegations against him. No victims of mine have come forward with the allegations against me because these victims do not exist. In his video, Lex says that he was disgusted by my actions regarding his false narrative about me with other minors, and you can tell that he is so disingenuous as he says this. If you were so disgusted by my actions, and if you actually thought I was a person who targeted minors, why didn't you speak up when you found out about it, Lex? Why didn't you come out with this information about me with these minors before you were getting called out for being a pedophile yourself? You're not actually disgusted about anything because you're lying about this. You're not actually disgusted by the act of going after minors because you yourself target minors, Lex. Now I'm going to take some time to talk about how Lex also managed to bring in his own friends into his legal business with me and him grooming me. Lex claimed in his video that JC and Noah have defended me against Lex during the first few weeks of that this drama was making rounds. Despite what Lex thinks, at no point during any of this have Noah or JC publicly supported me. They have never contacted me about anything because they quite frankly do not care about you, Lex. JC and Noah were moving on with their lives. Your friends have nothing to do with your own actions, Lex. It is not their fault that you groomed a minor fan. Sure, Noah had some marital problems in his life, but you exposing him as a way to deflect from the actual problem at hand, which is you grooming a minor fan, is so disgusting and so dirty. I can't believe that you would stoop so low as to backstabbing your own friends. It is clear that you cannot be trusted, and it is clear that no one should be friends with you because you do not value friendship at all. You backstabbed your friends by telling the public about private information that they confided in you. This is proof that Lex cares about no one except himself. Lex thinks he is the victim in every scenario, which is why Lex cries to his mods and told them that he feels like Noah is using him before. I don't think that Lex understands that Noah never needed to use Lex, that Noah always had a much bigger platform than Lex, and that Noah had much bigger reach than Lex. At no point in Noah's career, especially up until last year, which is when Lex told this message to his mods, did Noah ever need to use you. In his video, Lex says that his online friends Noah, JC, Pat, and Liam dropped him at the whim of a hat, and he is trying to insinuate that they dropped him over the serious allegations against him grooming me, when in reality, his friends dropped him years ago for their own personal reasons. Here's more proof of Lex venting to me, as well as venting to his own fans / Twitch mods about how he has no friends and how none of the guys in the zombies community talk to him anymore. In his video, Lex tries to take a personal jab at JC Backfire, someone who Lex has actively hated on for years now. Lex tries to frame JC Backfire as a cheater by using messages of me as proof. Lex claims throughout his video that I cannot be trusted, yet when it comes to JC, he demands that I be a trusted source that he is cheating on his girlfriend. Lex says that he is disgusted by JC's actions or whatever, and we all know that Lex is just bluffing for the camera once again, because if JC cheating on his girlfriend was actually a big deal to you and actually bothered to you, you would have said something about it outside of your own cheating allegations, Lex. You would have told JC's girlfriend that he was cheating on her if you actually cared about this. The truth is that JC's relationship has nothing to do with Lex grooming and raping me. JC has nothing to do with the drama. Lex just wanted to include JC because Lex wants to bring his friends down with him. Lex has always had a personal vendetta against JC and his other friends. You can see in these text messages here that Lex has stated multiple times that he wants to expose JC and his other friends for all the garbage they put him through. Lex has been thinking about ways to expose his friends for months now, meaning that this attempt to drag them down is premeditated. Lex cried about JC to many people, even after JC unfollowed Lex and tried to move on with his own life 3 years ago. In this screenshot, you can see that Lex was telling his mods that he wants to make a video about it so bad, but inevitably won't. Lex is fishing for pity points from his mods because he knows that since they are fans of him, they're easily impressed by supposed vulnerability. Lex would personally tell me things about how his friends didn't like me and how they were mean to Lex. I didn't realize realized that Lex was feeding me these false narratives about his friends, and that he was also feeding his friends false narratives about me to make us dislike each other. Because the truth be told, none of Lex's friends actually know me. None of them have ever spoke to me for more than 5 minutes, and none of them have ever hung out with me personally one-on-one. They only knew about me from whatever Lex was feeding them. When Lex was catching on that none of his friends in Los Angeles liked him anymore, he started blaming it on JC, telling me things like, I feel like JC spread some shit about us, or nobody uses the group chats I'm in. It's like they all disown me or something. Should I DM JC and be like, hey, Liam unfollowed me. I wonder what's up with that. Or even, I know JC told him something that made him not like me, which hurts even more because I don't even care about JC right now. Yeah, you clearly don't care about JC, which is why you included him in your fucking expose video on me. It is clear by these messages that Lex has always had this personal vendetta against JC, Liam, and anyone else who knows them. Lex talked shit about Liam and JC to me multiple times while simultaneously crying and playing the victim card to me. Lex did this so that I can comfort him and always be on his side against his friends. And it worked. Lex called them names and shit on their creative work whenever he wasn't included in their success. It is very clear from these messages that Lex is just jealous of his own friends. Lex is jealous that they are all likable people and that they are all dating girlfriends their own age. Lex was more so incredibly jealous of JC for accomplishing his own success outside of the zombies community and forming a personal friendship with Jason Blundell. Lex concluded in his video a false testimony from my old roommate and ex-best friend, Anna Zundel, also known as Jello Anna on all platforms. He shows a screenshot that shows a text from Anna where she claims that while she was living with me, I was taking pictures of her ass without her knowledge or consent and that I was selling them. Anna goes as far as saying that I was sexually exploiting her and that I even laughed about it. Anna adds a second message to Lex and tells him that she relates to him because she thinks she is a victim of my mind games and manipulation. This is gonna be really hard to talk about because, first of all, Anna's lying. She's a complete two-faced, lying ass bitch. She is just lying. As an actual victim of sexual exploitation, it was astonishing to see her make such claims. It was as if Anna was taunting me by saying this stuff. It was honestly a complete shock to me that Anna went out of her way to reach out to Lex, considering she lived with me for 6 months and she saw how Lex was affecting my life daily, even before all this drama hit the internet. Anna knew that Lex groomed me and Anna knew that Lex raped me. Anna knowingly decided to side with my abuser. And it's really hard for me to come to terms with that because I thought that Anna was my best friend. Nonetheless, Anna's lying about me sexually exploiting her. I never once took pictures of Anna's ass. I never once took pictures of Anna without her consent. I have never once sold images of Anna to anyone ever. I never touched Anna without her consent. Anna is a 21-year-old adult woman. Anna and I know that she is trying to manipulate the reality that she herself sold videos and photos of herself to a man on Snapchat. Anna met the Snapchat buyer through me because I had casually brought it up one day to Anna that I was making a few $100s on Snapchat through sexting. Anna became intrigued by the money and she wanted to know how she could partake in it too. I asked the buyer I was sexting if he would be interested in talking to Anna, and he said yes, under the circumstances that we were sold as a package deal. Anna was comfortable as being sold as a package deal with me, and after his confirmation, I made a Snapchat group chat with Anna, myself, and the buyer. We did our first Snapchat session as a threesome with the buyer on March 7th. As you can tell, by the date that the group was created. We both typed in the Snapchat group chat as we sat right next to each other and we talked aloud. As we were sexting the buyer, it was never serious and we were never horny, we were never masturbating. We were telling him things that he wanted to hear while just giggling to ourselves and making jokes about how we were making money off of him. During the Snapchat session, the buyer requested non-sexual photos of Anna and I together, saying that he would add more money to the pot that he was paying us all together. Anna and I took this photo of us together, sitting on my beanbag right next to each other, and sent it to the buyer. As you can see in the photo, Anna has a Snapchat group chat open on her phone, as well as we are consenting to this photo being taken. She is posing with me for this photo. That same session, Anna even let me record a video of her kissing my stomach for the buyer because he requested it. And by kissing my stomach, I mean she just hovered her face over my stomach and we manipulated the video in order for it to look like she was kissing me. We were both consenting to what we did, and I did not want to make Anna uncomfortable, nor did I want to be uncomfortable, which is why we took precautions in faking the video. The incident where Anna talks about me touching her butt can be seen in both of these videos during a different threesome session with the buyer. In this video, Anna can be seen sitting on my beanbag with the Snapchat group chat open again. In this video, Anna is talking to me about what she should text the buyer, and in the video, I say, "Sorry, am I squishing you?" because I wanted Anna to be as comfortable as possible. We recorded this video for the buyer because he asked for a video of us sitting together. The clip cuts off right after I playfully smack Anna's butt, and in real life, we bursted out into laughter. After the clip was recorded, I immediately took my hand off of Anna. I did not squeeze her butt. I did not linger. I did not make it sexual. sexual. We bursted out into laughter, and it became an interaction that Anna would proceed to tell our friends as a funny story. Anna has told multiple friends this funny story, telling others like, haha, one day we were sitting on the beanbag, Ren smacked my butt, and then we go, oh, ha 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 ha. Because it was a funny thing. I never sexualized Anna. I never hurt her. I never did anything bad to her. It's really shocking to me that she would even say something like this. In a different Snapchat clip from that night, you can see me playfully hitting Anna's butt with my sweater sleeve.
He was just like, would you let Ren walk you on a leash? And I was like, yeah. And then he like started talking about pet play.
And in the video, Anna says, but he's just like, would you let Ren walk you on a leash? And I was like, yeah. And then he started like talking about pet play. You can hear in Anna's tone of voice that she is clearly taking things very lightly. She wouldn't actually let me walk her on a leash, and I wouldn't be interested in doing that either. She's my friend. We never felt like things were overly sexual, and we never felt sexually exploited through these Snapchat threesomes because we were always the ones in charge. Anna and I never sent the buyer photos or videos of us doing something that we never consented to. And any video or photo that we did send was always of us fully clothed, never sexual, never weird, never degrading. You can see in this text message conversation right here that Anna consented to another threesome session with the Snapchat buyer because she knew we'd make enough money to fund our Coachella trip. If Anna really felt sexually exploited by the videos and photos we sent to the buyer on Snapchat, why didn't she stop? Why did she continue to message the buyer and sell him videos of herself without me in them? Why did Anna continue to bring up the buyer's name whenever she needed extra money? These messages are proof that Anna was a consenting 21-year-old adult. At no point in Anna's life or in Anna's relationship with this buyer was I forcing it, or was I holding it over her head? If Anna wanted money, she knew that she could get a quick $100 out of him. Anna was never being taken advantage of, and she was never being harmed. Anna had never been sexually exploited by me or the buyer like she claims. What blows my mind even more about Anna lying about me and trying to flip this situation on me is that before Lex and Anna were in contact, Anna was clearly on my side and she was willing to defend me against Lex. The last message Anna sent me was on July 24th, 2024. The date that Anna messaged Lex and decided to lie to him about me was on July 25th, 2024. Meaning that not even 24 hours later, Anna was so quick to backstab me and lie about me to my abuser that she knew abused me. So yeah, to see that included in Lex's video and to see Anna be weaponized against me at the end of my abuser and my fucking video, it really fucking hurt. I cried so much when I found out. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. Anna was like my sister. She was my best friend. I cared so much about Anna and I never wanted her to be uncomfortable around me ever. I went out of my way to accommodate Anna and her life. It is clear that Anna never cared about me or my well-being. When Anna was on the brink of homelessness here in California, I was the one who helped her. I was the one who gave her a roof over her head, and I comforted her and helped her get on her feet. I was there when Anna needed someone the most. For the first 2 months I let Anna live with me, I was living so uncomfortably and in so much pain just so that Anna could live with her cat. I am incredibly allergic to cats, and despite knowing that, I let Anna and her cat live with me under the circumstances that Anna was going to take care of the cat. I tried really hard to live with the uncomfortableness, and I tried really hard to accommodate Anna and her cat. I went to the hospital multiple times in 1 month, and I even got an air purifier in attempts to cope with living with Anna's cat. Over the first few weeks that Anna lived with me, I realized that I was the one putting in all the effort for the cat that wasn't even mine. Anna was incredibly neglectful of her cat, never taking time out of her day to change the cat's litter or feed the cat. It got to the point where I had to tell Anna to change the cat's litter because my garage was getting too smelly. It got to the point where I had to personally text Anna myself and tell her that I don't know if this is gonna work out anymore because she's not taking care of the cat like she told me she would. It was really unfortunate that I was the one who was stuck with the extra responsibilities of taking care of a pet because Anna wanted to go out on dates with guys off Hinge every other night. Anna was so neglectful of her own cat that the cat ended up shitting itself as it was eating food in my kitchen. The cat didn't have anywhere to go potty, that it literally pottied all over herself as she was eating food. It got to the point where I could barely breathe in my own apartment because my allergies were so bad to this cat. Anna was so neglectful, she did not clean up any cat fur and did not attempt to disinfect any area that the cat was in, just so that it could be a little bit easier on me. It is clear that Anna wasn't putting this effort in because she didn't care about me. I had to make the executive decision to get rid of the cat because I knew Anna was not capable of taking care of the cat. I risked my health and my well-being for Anna and her pet cat, only for Anna to not care about the cat itself. I should have known from the start of our friendship that Anna's a selfish person and she doesn't actually care about me. If Anna cared about me, she wouldn't have just let me suffer in pain while I was unable to breathe because of her own cat. Anna would have put in the efforts to make my life a little bit easier, the way I was making Anna's life easier. Anna is not a reliable source of information, and it is proven by Anna's text messages that she is willing to lie about me so that every mutual friend we have can think poorly of me. Anna has gone out of her way to not only message Lex lies about me, but as well as my own friends that I have known longer than Anna. Anna has told my friends Sean and Matt that I exploited Anna and that I talk shit about them, when that was never true. My ex-best friend, Jello Anna Zendel, is a two-faced bitch and has used her lies to start some sort of little hate group about me. It is clear by Anna's retweets, follows, subtweets, and replies that Anna is going out of her way to spread misinformation about me. Anna going out of her way to message my known abuser and whoever else lies about me shows her true colors and shows what she is capable of doing to any of her friends. Anna could have easily kept herself out of this, but she decided to try and make my story and my abuse about her. Anna has decided to try to get some 15 seconds of fame since she saw that everything was going viral by putting her 2 cents in. Unfortunately, Anna, my story is not about you. My abuse is not about you. At the end of the day, I did not hurt Anna, I did not harm her, and I did not sexually exploitate her. Anna and I know that all I did was really help her, and I was really there for her, and I was a true friend for her. I do hope that you do face consequences for lying about me, because that was so fucking wrong, and that is so despicable of you to backstab me. I will never forgive you, but I will not act like you, and I won't go and tell your secrets and talk shit about you, because that's just not who I am. I am not an evil, selfish bitch like you, Anna. I honestly don't care about you, and I hope that one day you can move on and stop making lies about me to make yourself feel better. We both know that I was there for you when you needed somebody, and we both know that I treated you with so much kindness and so much respect. It is really unfair for you to try and make my story about you. My story was never about you, and my story will never be about you, because your story is all fucking lies. Just some extra things I'd like to address from Lex's video, because he made so many fucking lies about me, it's hard to just make a timeline about them all. Lex went on record and said that I'm the reason his YouTube channel got hacked a year ago or so. Lex shows no proof of this and instead shows a manipulated text message that includes no context or date where I say I feel so guilty about my own laptop having a virus. Lex said this because of my recent stream back when I thought that everything was fine after my 2 Google documents. I confessed that Lex had gotten hacked by those Tesla crypto sponsorship emails. When Lex got hacked by giving his own personal information out to an email, Lex proceeded to blast YouTube all over Twitter, saying that they were at fault for it. Well, I wanted to come on record and show you guys my personal DMs with Lex when Lex first found out he was hacked. As you can see, I'm responding to Lex, trying to figure out what's happening to him. I want him to be okay. Lex even sent me a YouTube video explaining how he got hacked and what they were doing to his YouTube channel. I was not responsible for you getting hacked, Lex. I am not responsible for you falling for an email like that. It is clearly you who fell for a fake email. I'm not sure why you even try to make this claim against me, because it has nothing to do with you grooming me as a child. And it really shows your lack of coherency on this matter. Lex uses some out of context clips from my stream to try to frame me as not a victim, or saying that I didn't actually go through what I went through because I was caught on stream making jokes about what actually happened to me or whatever. I just wanted to state that even in that stream that I made when I came back, before I was making jokes, before I was poking fun at my own bear, because as someone who has gone through this trauma, I have a right to make fun of my own trauma, but nonetheless, I stated multiple times in my stream that the situation with Lex and it going public has completely destroyed and desensitized me. I even broke into tears on stream, and I got really emotional when I talked about how nobody views me as a human anymore. People are only viewing me as some sort of entertainment that they can talk about, perceive, and make content on, which is really unfair and really inhumane. That is why in my stream, I said that I wish that whoever wants to cover my story with Lex would at least reach out to me instead of trying to just profit off of my trauma. It is my story, and almost everyone who reviewed my story gets so many important details wrong, even though that they are clearly written in the documents. A common misconception that I've seen go around from people who report on the story is that people think I'm 17 years old in the video where Lex is seen groping my breasts at the Z house. I am not 17 years old. I am 16 years old, and Lex is 19 years old. I say it in the document. People say we have a 2-year age gap, but we don't. We have a 3-year age gap. It's clearly right there. These facts have been presented time and time again, but people are choosing to ignore them, and that's what really sucks for me as the actual victim trying to get her word out. Because people trying to diminish my story will say, oh, it's only two years. That's not pedophilia. No, it was more than 2 years. If these people actually wanted to cover my story and do the right thing, they'd reach out to me. But these people don't, because like I said, these people don't view me as a person anymore. People have seen so much of me exposed on the internet. I mean, you guys have literally seen raw photos of me getting groomed, photos of me as a minor getting sexually exploited by my abuser, and so on and so forth. I have nothing hidden about myself anymore. Every detail about me in this relationship has been exposed, and it really sucks that I had to show videos of me getting raped to back up my own claims. Lex uses a clip of me in my stream and says that I was yet again joking about being groomed when I literally invaded a minor's home. You guys can see in this clip that Lex is using against me that I'm coping with my trauma and coping with my reality by making jokes about it. Now that everyone knows literally everything about my life, it's hard to just be normal. It's hard to come on this camera and just be normal after everyone on Twitter has made fun of me and seen so many things about me. It's hard for me to just look at myself as a normal human being even right now. Right now, to everyone else, I'm just the girl who my groomer and abuser is painting out to be a bad guy. Right now, people think I'm a pedophile or a rapist or this or that. Right now, I'm not a human. Right now, I don't have feelings to you guys. And like this reality that I know that nobody values me and that nobody sees me as a person, it's not messing with my psyche, but it's resonating with me. Like, I can really tell that nobody wants me. Nobody cares for me right now. This is why I've struggled so much with like getting my word out. I've wanted to give up so many times because I'm scared that no one's gonna believe me, and I'm scared that I'm putting all this effort in just for nobody to believe me. But I don't know how I would be able to live with myself knowing that I let my abuser, my rapist, and my fucking groomer get away with all these fucking lies about me. I don't know how I'd be able to live with myself. Another clip that Lex shows in his YouTube video is from my own stream once again, and it's a clip of me saying fuck you to Scarlet Reaper, which if you guys don't know, he's just a guy, literally no engagement, no interaction, this is a grown-ass man, by the way. He's a grown-ass man hating on me. I think this is like 30-plus-year-old man. I have no idea, but Scarlet Reaper is old. Even though Lex says that I'm not a victim of him or whatever the hell, I am a victim of harassment to Scarlet Reaper as well. So yes, I would like to double down again. Yes, fuck you, Scarlet Reaper. You have harassed me and threatened me non-stop online ever since Lex has tweeted about his first tweet on the Snapchat video on Twitter. Lex knows this. Lex knows I'm his victim, and he knows that I'm a victim of harassment to Scarlet. Lex tries to frame it that I'm not a victim. Scarlet is a diehard Lex fan, and when I came out with my first Google document with the proof about how Lex raped me and groomed me when I was a minor, Scarlet attempted to find loopholes to defend Lex, and Lex found a safe space in Scarlet because of that. Scarlet streamed himself going over my documents and going over everything while making excuses for Lex's predatory behavior. Because of this, Lex has in return platformed Scarlet to send me more harassment on Lex's behalf. Scarlet has been actively harassing me and sending me death threats and doxing me on Twitter for 4 weeks now, ever since this horror ordeal came to life. Like I said, unlike Lex, I haven't sent anybody to harass Lex on my behalf. Anything that I have going on with Lex, any bad blood that I have going on with Lex, is purely between me and Lex. But Lex is knowingly using his platform to send others to harass me, as well as Scarlet Reaper, giving Scarlet a bigger platform so that his tweets of harassment could reach more of a level than they normally did. Another thing Lex did in his video was subtly addressing this image of him bookmarking anti-trans propaganda on Twitter because Lex is transphobic and homophobic. This particular propaganda that Lex bookmarked on Twitter was to promote the idea that trans people are pedophiles, which is really ironic because Lex is the pedophile his goddamn fucking self. Lex's excuse for why he had a bookmark is, I also bookmarked personal tweets that I wanted to discuss with my friends privately. This excuse is dumb and it doesn't hide your bigotry. Why would you want to bookmark something about trans people being pedophiles just to argue with your friends and be like, I think that they're pedophiles, do you guys do? That doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Lex is a bigoted homophobe and he does not respect gay people or transgender people at all. I never agreed with Lex's point of view and I was never a safe space for his bigotry. When I was 17 years old, Lex complained to me about how he met someone who was pansexual and how he, at the time, didn't know what being pansexual was. Instead of taking the time to educate himself, Lex spewed hate in my DMs about how he didn't want to learn about the silly made-up garbage that is pansexuality and other sexualities. In response to Lex's blow-up about pansexuality in my DMs, I told Lex that he was in the wrong, to which he responded with, I'm joking, baby, I know. And I know you were kind of picky about the subject too, so it's whatever. It just kind of pisses me off that this is considered practical. He calls me picky about the subject because I support sexualities, I support expressing yourself, I support everything related to the LGBTQ plus community. Lex clearly does not. Him saying, I'm just kind of pissed off that this shit is considered practical is weird. You're pissed off that people who don't affect your life have various ways to represent themselves? Why are you so hateful, Lex? Lex was 3 years older than me, and I was the one having to set him straight at 17 years old. Even up until last year, Lex was using my DMs as a safe space for him to spew his hateful views on the LGBTQ plus community. I always let Lex know that my DMs are not a safe space for that type of shit. And I do not agree with Lex's point of view on anything related to that. Lex tells me that he relates his beliefs to Christianity and uses his religion as an excuse to hate gay people, but I promise you there are a lot of people who read the Bible, a lot of people who claim whatever religion, and they don't hate gay people. They don't hate queer people. They don't hate them because they understand that they are people and their lives don't affect yours. Their decisions and their happiness really doesn't affect yours at the end of the day, Lex. On top of hating gay people, Lex is also a pedophile apologist. When TwoMad passed away, Lex expressed his sadness publicly about it in a tweet, and he also expressed his sadness about it in his mod group chat saying, "It hurts, man. It really hurts. I understand what he did was not right, but I hate when people die." That is Lex once again proving that he doesn't fucking care about anyone being a groomer or a pedophile. It's pedo supporting pedo at the end of the day. Lex will knowingly support a pedophile because Lex is himself one. Him saying, "I understand what he did was not right." Like, okay, you understand what TwoMad did was not right. Why are you still showing him support? Why are you still showing him sadness and kindness? Another thing Lex did in his video was show screenshots of my Snapchat story while I was in Vegas, and he used these Snapchat screenshots to claim that I'm not a victim because I was posting pictures of myself in Vegas with my friend and I'm having fun. Once again, I posted those photos and stuff on my Snapchat when I thought that my 2 Google documents were enough to provide my truth and enough to show you guys that Lex actually did groom me and did rape me. I talked about it on stream as well, about how I couldn't sleep alone and how I was having anxiety attacks. So going to Vegas really helped my mentality and reminded me that there was so much in the world. There's so much in this world outside of the internet. There's casinos and everyone's partying and people are having a good time because they're not on their phones all the goddamn time the way I am and the way I was. Going on that trip to Vegas really helped me take a mental break from the harassment I was receiving online. Lex is disgusting for trying to insinuate that I should be sad all the time because of what has happened to me in my past. I've been sad for the past 8 years of my life. I know what it's like to be sad every day. I know what it's like to just live and be miserable. I know what it's like because I dated you, Lex. I'm not going to let you take away the rest of my life and make the rest of my life miserable. I only have so many years left now. You want to take those away from me too? You already took my teenagers away from me. Why do you need to take more of my life away from me? Why do you need me to be sad about you all the goddamn fucking time? Why do you feel the need to be a reoccurring character in my life all the goddamn time? I get it. You wanted to groom me and you wanted to trap me. You wanted to trap a virgin into your life and marry her. It's not me. I got to go fucking free. Thank God I'm free, honestly. My life has been so much better and I've been able to see the sunshine ever Lex has been out of my life. I've only been free of Lex for 1 year of my life since 2023 till now. And this past year was honestly one of the best years of my life because he was not in it. My life doesn't have to end because everyone knows about my abuse story. Honestly, my life is just beginning because people finally know my abuse story. My life is finally beginning because I don't have to be with my abuser. My life is finally beginning because I don't have to live in fear that he's gonna try to do something to me or hold something over my head anymore. I don't have to live in fear because I'm hiding all these secrets about what's actually happened to me. Coming up on my conclusion, I think, throughout Lex's entire video, he makes serious allegations against me, defames me, and invades my privacy in more ways than one. Lex has doxed me, as well as doxed anyone else who was my friend, but censored his own adult friend faces, meaning that Lex knows exactly what he's doing by exposing my friends' faces. Lex posted my personal information, a personal journal, and used my full legal name to intentionally threaten me, inflict harm on me, and damage my reputation, and put emotional distress on me. Lex used his platform to intentionally harass me and intimidate me with lies. I have already contacted the FBI about the cyber harassment and filed a report with local authorities over this. Lex tries to frame me as a psycho ex-girlfriend who didn't want her boyfriend to leave her, and he uses some DMs where I talk about being suicidal in 2017, meaning I was 16 years old saying those things. I think it's very unfair for the internet to judge me based off text messages of me as a minor talking about me being suicidal. People are using these messages to call me mentally unstable and psychotic, just the way Lex intended to. These text messages that Lex shows an attempt to use against me provide further proof that Lex was taking a mental toll on my health, the way I claimed in my first Google document. I wrote that my romantic relationship with Lex was taking a mental toll on me because I was 16 years old being sexualized and exploited daily by my favorite YouTuber turned groomer. I was acting different as a 16-year-old and I couldn't recognize myself anymore. I was sad all the fucking time because Lex held a power dynamic over my head and he knew that I was attached to this man at a young age. Lex really affected my mental health growing up and I have worked a lot on myself since then. I have gone to many therapists and I have gone to so many people to help me process the childhood trauma that Lex has left me. I'm now 23 years old and I have 8 years worth of growth that separates me from 16-year-old me. I am currently only 1 year removed from Lex, meaning Lex has had an impact on my life since I was 15 to 23 years old. I've only been living Lex free for 1 year of my conscious life. Either way, the past 8 years of my life and my past relationship with my abuser is now on full display for the entire world to see. Lex tries to manipulate everyone watching his video by talking about how his return to Christianity was due to him being suicidal over me. He says that he wanted to commit suicide over the first few weeks that the allegations were going around. As the actual victim in this situation, I want to say that I also struggled with severe suicidal distress, but I do not use my suicidal distress as leverage against anybody. I do not use it as leverage against my viewers, my fans, or my friends, because suicide should be taken seriously and it should not be used to manipulate people's opinions on you. It is important to address the way that Lex has repeatedly used the threat of self-harm to influence others. It's concerning to see him seek empathy while seemingly disregard the impact of his actions on those affected. Lex says that the Snapchat video he posted on Twitter was proof that he has nothing to hide, even though I have this text message of him telling me that he recorded our Snapchat messages as motivation for him for his sick sexual fantasies. He claims he has nothing to hide, but Lex never addressed my first Google document where I laid out the timeline in which Lex groomed me as a minor and provided the dates of which he raped me and abused me. Lex never addressed this photo of us naked in bed together that I posted in my Google Doc that other people have also asked him to address. Lex never addresses the video that I posted of us where he was grooming me at the Z house. And Lex also never addressed the fact that he harassed my mother over text messages and tried to scare her and I into silence after he sent me a cease and desist. There's a lot of things that Lex just didn't mention and didn't address because he knows that he couldn't address them and that there's no way to make a loophole of lies for those. My abuser, MrTLexify, then says, "I will also never apologize to my abuser and harasser, Reagan McNulty." Lex says this specifically because in my live stream he saw that I said that Lex never apologized to me for the crimes he committed against me, and I mean it. He's never apologized to me for grooming me. He's never apologized genuinely for choking me. He always uses it as leverage against me. He's never apologized for raping me. It's hard because he is still lying and he doesn't want to admit it to himself. Even though Lex is not a victim, I will apologize to my groomer and abuser, Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta. I want to apologize for how long it took me to make this video. I'm sorry I gave you 2 weeks of calm before the storm. I'm sorry that I let you think you could get away with this. If I could have, I would have dropped this video the day after yours so that I could have prevented more people from believing your lies. I had to make sure that I'm taking my time on this video so that I could include everything you did to me. There's probably more that I didn't include that I couldn't find, but I spent 2 weeks gathering information, and I really hope that I found as much as I could. Lex said in his video that he will not respond to this video I'm making about the situation because he knew I would come out with the cold hard facts and corner him again. Since his video went public, Lex has made a tweet mocking JC blocking him and trying to move on with his own life. It shows that Lex clearly doesn't give a fuck about JC. He never cared about his feelings or anything. He's using this tweet to make fun of JC because JC is just a laughing stock. Like, oh, you think that you successfully dragged JC down with you, but that's not true. Lex also changed the profile picture on his second Twitter account to an image of Doflamingo and changed his display name to Joker, which, in case you guys didn't know, Doflamingo is a villain character in the anime One Piece who is able to manipulate and force people to do terrible things for his amusement. In One Piece, Doflamingo forces a king-like character to kill off his own people and then frames the king as the villain behind the massacre. Pretty similar to how Lex is framing me for the crimes that Lex has committed himself. Everyone knows that Lex is a big fan of One Piece, and it is clear that Lex is finding himself relating to this villain. Lex is showing subliminal signs that he knows he is the villain, and he knows he is similar to Doflamingo. Lex calling himself the Joker and changing his profile picture to a villain he self-inserts himself as really shows how Lex feels about what's been happening to me. Lex doesn't feel any remorse for wrongfully framing me for the crimes that he has committed against me. I'd like to end off my video by saying thank you to anyone who has taken time out of their day to fully hear me and see my story. I'm sure this wasn't an easy listen. I'm sure this wasn't easy to follow along to. I'm sorry that I stuttered. This video was really hard for me to make. My heart was beating fast multiple times. I'm sorry that I sounded like a robot throughout a lot of this. It's really hard to show emotion to this because I've been working on this for 2 weeks now and I've been reading this over and over and over. I'm so desensitized to everything that Lex has done to me, but I want to be heard and I want to be taken seriously. I want my story to be taken seriously because Lex did rape me, Lex did groom me, and Lex did manipulate me. He did abuse me. I'll never be able to just live life normally ever again, and Lex knows that. Lex knows that he has put his hands around my neck, and I will never forget that feeling of what it's like to have an older man choke me and pin me to the ground. I will never forget what it's like to be gagging for breath because my brain could barely fucking get any oxygen. There's so much out of these 8 years that I dated Lex that I will never forget. Which is why I just want to thank everybody who's shown me kindness and support through this whole ordeal. Truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to do this without the help of my friends who stuck by my side and pushed me to continue my response. Over the past 2 weeks, I thought about giving up so many times. I thought about ending my life so many nights because I couldn't live with the impact that these false allegations Lex made against me were doing. It was really hard to sleep at night because I was filled with so much anxiety and I was so worried about what was gonna happen to me. I thought that maybe there was no point in making a response since over 1 million people saw Lex's video by now. I thought that maybe no one will believe me and that maybe I was gonna do all this work for nothing. But thankfully, I have family and friends who could support me. And they're the reason I didn't give up. I also didn't give up because I knew I would be letting 15-year-old me down. I would be letting down that little girl inside of me who had to go through all of this too. And I really mean it. Like, she didn't go through all of that for nothing. That little girl didn't go through all of that abuse and manipulation just to give up now. I would be letting myself down in more ways than one if I gave up. I would be letting down victims who are also scared of their abuser. I did not put up a battle with my abuser, rapist, and groomer for so long just to give up when he makes a couple hundred lies about me. I hope my story can help anyone else out there. I really hope I can help someone out there who's going through something similar as me. I hope I can give motivation to other victims of domestic abuse and grooming. I want to be a success story for others to feel comfortable with coming forward for their own experiences. I want anyone out there who relates to me to know that your world doesn't have to end when a man puts his hands on you. When anyone puts their hands on you. Your world doesn't have to end when you are robbed of your youth by somebody who you thought was gonna be the love of your life, right? There is so much beauty in the world and life is too short to let our abusers take away more years from us. You are not alone. I promise you, whoever you are never alone. Whatever you're going through, somebody else is probably going through the same thing. If you or someone you may know is getting groomed, please tell a trusted adult. Please let someone know what's happening to you. Don't wait so that you can end up like me. If you or someone you know is experiencing suicidal ideation, please take them seriously. And please let a trusted adult know. My name is Reagan McNulty, and I am a rape and groom and abuse victim of the COD Zombies YouTuber, MrTLexify. Also known as Lex Adrian Iwan Chlysta. Lex has groomed me, raped me, and abused me physically over the course of the past 8 years of my life. At some point, I'd like to be able to go back to having a normal life. But for now, I will be fighting for my truth in court against my abuser, as well as fighting to clear my name online for who knows how long. Thank you for listening to my story, and thank you for taking time to hear me.